All right. I think I can turn on the music and get us to the starting.
Oh snap.
Welcome everybody to Apotheosis. Let me put on the proper view and come on, roll 20. Welcome to Apotheosis and good evening. I am your game master, Mick Holmes, and with me tonight I have my socially distant friends, including Grey Song of Alanith, played by Sean.
No, Chauncey, I cannot get you a special rate on lawn care service.
Zachary the Strong, played by Eric.
This one is called Zachary.
Chauncey Hawkinstone, played by Aaron.
I'm pretty sure, Grey Song, the Druid's Gone Wild catalog is just those little kitty ones that can hang in there.
And LK Forgnath, played by Rich.
These planes are full of endless fascinations.
Tonight, our maps are brought to you by 2 Minute Tabletop. Check out their stuff at 2minutetabletop.com. Music is brought to you by filmmusic.io, a great source of all sorts of free licensed music. As always, check out patreon.com/MakeHolmes for more goodies and features. And check out our Discord link in the description to join us between sessions for more chat. Since last week, our adventurers have had a week of downtime before this session. I gathered you guys' downtime stuff and did all of your rolling during the week. Chauncey, you spent your time in the Alchemist Guild making some elixirs of life. Unfortunately, there were some unfortunate accidents in the lab, and you failed your crafting check. You weren't able to complete any of your elixirs, but you did salvage all the materials, and next week you'll have 3 out of the 4 days required to craft.
He got drunk.
Shimi, the gnome friend while you were there, she had to leave sort of midweek, explaining that she was going to a occult symposium on another plane. Though she didn't really go into detail, and I imagine you didn't really press, you just sort of made fun of her for...
That's exactly what happened.
Grey Song, you were looking for someone who could craft you a custom mask, like a wolf. What exactly did you want it to look like again?
So, actually, I might actually have a physical example.
Oh damn! Props.
So something sort of stylistically like that.
Okay.
So.
Well, luckily, on the very first day, you stumbled across a woodcarver artisan looking for work. He himself crit succeeded on his crafting check, and by the end of the week, he presented you with exactly the mask you were looking for. For your other days, you weren't able to find any more clues about the elven artist Atia. You're starting to... It becomes more and more likely that the person was not what they seemed. Okay. You spent your time in the library. You were researching a number of topics. As per your roles, your research has progressed, but you've yet to make any sizable leads, even with Vama Hargava's help. But I also rolled some social checks with you and Vama Hargava, and he actually finds you quite endearing.
Yay.
He explains a little bit about his history. Vama Hargava, for viewers who don't know, is a crazy scroll monster. That, where are you? Vama Hargava handout. He is a scroll monster, a kind of like an elemental, like a being of energy that takes the form of a mask that can read scrolls. He is a demigod. At least that's what he calls himself. He tells you, LK, that he was created, technically, though the details kind of elude him. He believes that he was created in a library on the material plane, and when the wizards saturated the area with divination magic, he eventually gained consciousness. He doesn't know the details of this because the moment he gained consciousness, he ascended to the further planes, and his home plane is just a shadowy copy of the tiny library where he originated.
Huh.
But after that, that's basically what you've learned. You do feel like there's some leads coming very soon.
So this is not his plane. He is like here, just as like a.
Yeah, he basically was like, I don't want to spend my life in a tiny library. I'm gonna go find a better library. And so he eventually found the Inquisition.
Cool.
Rather. Zachris.
Nobody expects this Spanish Inquisition.
I'm trying really hard not to say that. Zachris, you were training with the Ignal Suzerainty, taking some side jobs. I forgot if you gave me any different things from last week.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Because you actually went back to your job training some people and succeeded doing a pretty good job. You pulled in 35 silver for the week's work.
All right.
And the time you spent training with the Ignal guards will give you access to some uncommon feats and archetypes next time you level up.
Excellent. Okay.
So, to recap some events in the past, previously on Apotheosis, our party met Tsutsuya, a planar traveler from a guild called the Inquisition. She had lost her companion Garrett on the plains. She eventually left off on her own to try and find him. This session begins with Aliska of the Inquisition informing you guys that Tsutsuya had found Garrett. Unfortunately, he was murdered. Not only that, but another Inquisition member is being charged with the crime of murdering Garrett. The plane they're on right now has a very draconic judicial system, and Aliska has asked you guys to investigate. See if there's any chance of proving him innocent, the implication being to prove him innocent whether or not he actually is.
So the Inquisition wants us to prove him innocent?
Yes.
So they're just trying to save face at the moment. Am I right?
That is sort of the feeling you're all getting. You are met at the portal, leaving Iefri, by Mahar. Mahar is a mage who you guys met previously, and he tells you that the man who is currently the prime suspect is in fact Rangrim. The other man that you met earlier from the Inquisition, a Azamar, who you found to be fairly, pleasant and altruistic.
Yeah, he was good peoples.
So it is very unlikely that he would stoop to murder, and Mahar is sort of beside himself, worried that this is unthinkable. Rangrim wouldn't hurt a fly unless it was a giant monster fly.
Was Rangrim the one with the swords?
Yes.
Or was that? It was, right?
It was.
So who was the person that died?
It was the person who died was Garrett, the
Wasn't that Tatiana's?
Yeah.
Tsutsuya's
contact?
partner.
Yeah,
Tsutsuya's partner.
that's great.
He wouldn't happen to be bald, would he?
He would not,
No.
unfortunately. I don't know where you're going with.
Wondering if he was fighting over hairstyles or anything.
Rangrim does have really nice hair, so
Oh.
possible. As Mahar leads you there, he says that Tsutsuya is already on the scene. The murder took place on the what is the name of this plane? The Resonating Sea of Ganalisle.
Interesting.
The Resonating Sea of Ganalisle is a plane entirely filled with water. It has no gravity, so no concept of down. there's nothing there but water, save for some coral-covered boulders floating around the water. The native species is a relative of the sea-dwelling Lokotha species. They follow a kraken-like creature as their god. Despite having very little land, numerous Lokotha cities actually float in and around these tiny coral-covered rocks, many of which have magical generators that infuse the water around them with qualities that make it breathable, if uncomfortably so, by air breathers. The Lokotha use temporary air bubbles and conjure currents to taxi landlubbers between these zones. It comes at a heavy cost, so the Incarnation has given you a sizable travel budget. You guys, you're led into this portal.
Before we go through this portal, how, like, is our little roamers going to protect us from this?
Well, that's the thing, is you get to the portal, and as you guys take out your roamers to teleport, Mahar says, no, I don't think yours are going to let you. Your roamers are going to assume that you'll die as soon as you get in. Luckily, I have a major roamer, a more advanced design that can protect us a bit more. However, it is actually safe on the other side. The portal area is full of oxygenated water, so you should be fine.
So these are the more powerful roamers I've heard about. Do you think I could take a look at that unit at some point?
Yeah, for sure. And he sort of holds a necklace.
So I would either just jot down, or maybe actually, Graysong, do you think you could take a quick sketch of this? And he would point out any relatively important things based on his studies that he's noted about roamers, and specifically like differences between, like, what makes that a major roamer versus it's just ether spider goo in plenty or not.
Yeah, you guys can, that can be a downtime topic.
Yeah.
For next time.
Sure.
So,
You guys are led to this portal. Mahar uses his roamer to transport you guys. Takes the normal sort of 10 minutes for the ritual to complete. And the next moment, you find yourself almost as if you were hurled into a pool of water. You feel immediately like you have vertigo. You have no sense of up or down, and the water is almost impossible. Well, your body finds it very impossible to breathe this water. I would like everybody to start off the session by making me a fortitude save.
oh boy.
Now, since I have the breath control.
Yes, you are immune to this.
Okay. Excellent.
Zacharias
Wow.
likes this place.
So Zacharias, you immediately start taking deep breaths, and you're like, yeah, it's uncomfortable. The water is not nice to get in your lungs, but it is doing everything right. Graysong and Chauncey, you guys also use your sort of force of will and your...
I have no gag reflex.
You guys are fine. LK, however, passes out.
Whoa.
He's just rambling about the roamer and examining and talking, and everybody's like, shut up, and then the water engulfs us, and he's like,
LK's dying. Zacharias, from mouth to mouth.
Might actually take you a few seconds, because LK is probably just sort of floating there now.
Right.
You do wake up after a minute or two, so luckily there is no threat immediately. You are met by a fish person, a Lokotha. Has big bulging eyes on the side of his head, and sort of looks at you guys with a almost alien presence. He definitely seems to be very wary of you, Zacharias.
Please tell me you have art for this.
For the Lokotha, no, unfortunately I don't have art for this. However, the Lokothod does sort of look at your shield, Zacharias, and says, "Are you Ignal?"
Zacharias is with Ignal, yes.
Good, good. We are Ignal followers. We have pledged ourselves for Ignal protection.
Yes.
You will be good here and protect us.
Zacharias will do this, yes.
As you look around, you're in sort of a bubble of water surrounded by more water. There's a definite barrier of the sort of clear water you can breathe,
Right.
and then
Right.
the water that's actually water.
Okay.
It's sort of a darker blue. Light is passing through that a lot harder. That doesn't make sense. Science is not my strong suit.
It's a little more opaque.
Yeah. This Lokotha sort of bows to you guys and says, "So, you go see Lady Klabloblut, correct?" And Mahar nods and says, "Yes, can you take us there?" "I can. Hold tight." And he immediately just sort of pushes his fist forward, and you guys are hurtled like a water slide in sort of what seems like a random direction. You guys quickly gain your bearings, and yeah, he's just like, "We'll be there in about 1 of your hours."
Well, that is suitably unpleasant. I told you you'd be more comfortable with the gills, Harvey. You guys would all be horrified to learn that Harvey the rabbit is like swimming with his ambidextrous ears that have kind of turned finny, and he has gills on his neck, and he's still a disgusted rabbit.
So I pictured, instead of like how he's a helicopter, now he's got a propeller.
So you guys have a good, hour of time to discuss amongst yourselves or ask Mahar any more questions.
I'm more concerned about this rabbit. Like, what the hell is that thing? I thought it was like a bunny before.
I am a bunny. I don't even know what Harvey talks like. How do we decide he talks? But he's fully got voice right now. He's got hands and a voice. You can just talk to him.
Wait. You thought that this was a normal rabbit, but it talked and flew, but yet normal.
I mean, yeah. You turned into like a puppy dog. And I don't know what's going wrong with your face.
Yes,
besides being an elf.
I'm not really certain either, if I'm perfectly honest.
Mahar also sort of takes a look at your face and is just kind of, that's interesting. How did you get that? He asks, sort of, you can tell that he's being kind of like, just polite by asking.
When an elf and a mushroom really like each other, they get really close, and then Chauncey goes into like a very graphic detail about X-rated stuff.
It is a magical malady of a sort.
I forgot that Glob is with you. Glob is in your lantern, and he's sort of like, yeah, except it vibrates weird.
What vibrates weird?
Well, you vibrate like na 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 na, and it vibrates like na 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 na. You know?
The affliction.
Oh.
Yeah, the na 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 na.
Educational is always glob. And he would look over at Greysong, and I don't know, but he'll take the chance. I think he would probably go to sit down with Greysong and start talking to him, but he would speak in Sylvan to him. I think you speak Sylvan, don't you, Greysong?
Yes.
I should mention that you can't really sit anywhere, but...
Okay, I would I would actually float over to him and attempt continually to sit, but I assume put a float upside down and keep repositioning myself. I'm like on the beanbag in...
Is this motion kind of like Finding Nemo? Where
Yes.
they're all like, okay.
Very much so.
And he would probably just say in Sylvan to him rather than the conversation that's going on, and in a way to kind of deflect the two of us. I have been meaning to speak to you at some length about my research. It's progressing, and I think you might be of some help to me.
I would be very eager to hear anything that you might have to share on the topic.
Well, I only ask by virtue of the fact that, and I know it may be private. I don't mean to pry. You did speak to, I think, perhaps one of your fears might involve the Fae in some fashion. I only mention it because my family, our lineage, shares some of that ancestry, and if I'm being honest, too much is becoming coincidental here. My brother, his travel here, the Fae symbols that I'm discovering on our roamers and his ring, this can't be coincidence. Do you know anything about the Fae? What can you tell me?
My lady is an archfey. I am indebted to her. She saved my... And you'll see kind of Greysong, like he's thinking for a moment, like he can't quite capture a thought. And my family, she saved them. And I was granted certain abilities, which you've seen, at her hand to subsequently do her bidding in compensation for this act of kindness.
Fascinating. That's the source of your transformations. I must say, it's relatively intriguing from an academic perspective, but more to the point, I wonder if she could herself be involved directly in this, or if we might be able to hold some kind of conversation with her to discern more about these symbols. I'm sure if I can figure out what they mean, I can get us home. I'm the one that's responsible for us being here. I messed the experiment up, and Yackle, the same. You saw my brother. He's only here because of me. He was gonna get lost in thought and kind of almost start looking at his notes again.
Glob is just gonna be like, breathe! Don't forget breath!
Can Glob speak Sylvan?
Well, you guys are...
I guess so, because he knows it.
Yeah.
Us, right?
Well, technically, we're all still within the thing of the roamer, so everybody can understand you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the roamer that translates everything.
You guys are hearing everything? Okay, thinks he's just speaking Sylvan.
And then that's when I finally come to the climax of like what a mushroom looks like when it has its O face.
One day I'll have an O face, says Glob, ruining any seriousness.
And he would snap out and just say, anything, Greysong, that you might know about the Archfey. Anything could be a clue. I'm sure if I learn enough, I can get us back.
I do not know what I am at liberty to share, or even what details that I can share. She is the Queen of the Fellweald. That is the only name that I can utter. She is quite powerful. She is a legend, a bit of a fable of sorts from where I come. I knew of her existence and reached out to her in my hour of need, and she answered. She does speak to me still, even here. Perhaps, if you think it would be helpful, I could entreat her to speak with you, but caution.
She speaks to you here? Huh.
And Greysong looks like he's about to say something else and then appears troubled again and doesn't say anything further.
I'm sure I could learn a tremendous amount if I could hold some kind of conversation with her. I could speak to Krenari, perhaps, and talk about some of the customs that the Fae might find endearing. I'm sure we can find some way to alleviate some of the risk. It might be our only way out.
Sorry, Eric, I do notice that you are going crazy in that video. It is not just a single pixel. The video is having some major issues with you. I will try and fix that in post.
Mick's going in and like hand editing every pixel.
Yeah. What I'll need to do is record yourself lip syncing to everything you're doing here.
Just paint and animate him.
Yeah.
Or I could do it.
Yeah.
If you trust me.
Did he leave?
If you
I think
trust
he's actually
me.
left.
If you trust me to do that, it's just going to be like a picture of Greysong and a mushroom in like a heart.
Jeez.
This is why no, I will not trust you to do that.
So Alke's going to make a note specifically about talking to. I think he's smart enough from growing up, probably around folkloric conversations about the Archfey to some degree, as well as just academically. He's probably smart enough to not just like, call Candyman in the mirror.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to take that quasi-invitation of yours and make a note for Krenari. He wants to talk to Krenari about the Archfey, about the Fey, and kind of maybe go to the library and learn over the next downtime before he actually tries to hold a conversation. And we can kind of suss out any problems or threats that might, or maybe an environment that it might be good in. You can see little gnomes getting eaten up by sexy Archfey.
And one thing, Greysong and sort of after pausing for a moment, I have a question for you, LK. A favor, perhaps. I am, and you probably see him more nervous than you've ever seen him. I am concerned about this affliction. I do not know what it entails, and I do not know what it portends as far as what it means when it progresses to its final state, and I worry what that means. Perhaps you can aid me in research and discovering both the root cause of it and what I can expect.
My friend, you have my word. Anything that I can do to help. As I say, everyone is here at some measure because of me. At least I can do is help out. And he would probably take the same kind of note down. I mean, we're going to be looking into the Fae in any case, so he would make a note for that just for research purposes.
Grayson will pull up his sleeve, and you'll see that, where before you had seen kind of his hand with the growth on it, all up his arm are like basically this growth of like vines and bark and what looks like just growth of vegetation that's kind of crept up his arm.
So it's probably likely bigger than I thought it was, or more advanced. So you might have, or LK's reaction might be maybe not what you were expecting. So LK would have a very almost like academic and like dry response to it, and he would be like, "It's fascinating. This is growing. How long until it's reached this level?"
This has been a matter of some months now.
Holy hell! I don't even think penicillin will take care of that.
I kind of think that Shanti and Zachris are off having a little conversation, and Zachris says something like, "Ah, I see. It is called O-face because egg come out shaped like O."
Jeez.
Yeah, I guess if they're having that serious conversation, and Zachris is actually engaging with me,
Yeah.
then it'll just be like me, Zachris, and maybe Glob.
Having a whole side O-face conversation.
Also the Lokatha, who is with you, and neither of them know what an O-face is. Because
the Lokatha isn't a permanent O-face, because it's
Pretty
a
much.
fish, right?
Yeah.
Just
I lay my eggs here, and then you fertilize them and leave, right? Sorry, I interrupted you.
I think so. I guess two things. This probably wouldn't. We're not gonna have long enough travel for it to be now. So I would probably introduce the idea later. But I think LK would simply say that he would. I'll of course look into it, and I think our friend Glob might hold some of the keys to understanding it. And he says it vibrates differently. If I can find some reason for that or some mechanism, it might lead us to what's causing it. And
I can try.
And he would. So I think when we get back to an appropriate setting, Glob, and I have some pens and papers we can work with, I suspect I might be able to translate your vibratory dances and undulations into some kind of graph or wave function.
Or at the very least, you can transcribe them into a dance routine.
That's true. And he would kind of almost like look back over Greysong like, okay.
Oh, okay. Before I forget, you should know about this plane. Ganalisle has these effects, and he gives you a handout. On this plane, water magic is enhanced, fire magic is impeded. There is no gravity, microgravity, and occult magic is enhanced here. Other than that, there is very little sort of planar changes to the laws of physics. It's just that you're full of water, or in a place.
Speaking of which, how's LK's spellbook?
Everything is fine. In fact, you guys are noticing that your hair is not wet, and your clothes aren't wet. It's like you're floating in space more than anything, except that you can swim and push things around.
Is this similar to that column of water that we were in within the city?
A little bit, yeah. That one was probably made with a different magic, but this is a very similar in feel.
Okay, because I was just doing some reading about how, like, at the bottom of Mariana's Trench, if they were to have, like, a nuclear explosion, just the pure pressure would just keep it down and there'd be no problems. So if this whole plane is water and there was gravity, I think we'd be pretty messed up.
Yeah, it's pretty good that there's no gravity, because a lot of pressure. You guys...
to the actual thing. So Mahar is with us right now, right?
Yes.
So, Mahar, where's Rangrim at? If he's being accused of this murder.
Well, it all happened at Lady Clabberbloot's inn, so we're heading there. The Lady Clabberbloot is not allowing anyone to leave.
You made that name up.
No, it's a common Lokotha name. And he sort of turns to the Lokotha around and is like, "What's your name?" "My name is Shababluey."
Wait, it's a...
How dare you? That was not...
Zacharias likes this name.
Thank you, Zacharias. In any case, Lady Clabberbloot really loves humans. She made her inn styled like humans. And Mahar is like, "Yeah, it sure is." And as he's saying that, you guys come into view of this place. You see another one of these sort of large areas of that very clear water that you believe you can breathe. And sitting on a small rock is a quaint little bed and breakfast, like you would find out in the countryside. However, this is definitely underwater. And as you get closer, you realize that it looks like someone built this, but didn't know exactly what the purpose of everything is. The doors pivot in the center. Decorations are sort of nailed haphazardly. There is like 3 wind vanes and no wind. As you sort of pass through the barrier of the dark water and the breathable water, a alarm sort of goes off. The sound of friendly wind chimes sort of twinkles throughout everything. You guys are sort of landed outside the front door.
So does this look like the kind of thing that, like, the Lokotha people threw together to, like, impress or mimic travelers? Like, experience of their normal life? Is that the kind of idea?
Yeah, for sure. Or maybe more so what whoever this Lady Clabberbloot is. You see some people here. You see outside the front door Tsutsuya and Rangrim. Let me get the handouts.
Do we see other non-locals? I'm assuming so because I see some.
Yes. Tsuya and Rangrim are there, and Rangrim looks like she is sort of beside herself, holding in tears. Two others are outside. There is a man on the roof in some sort of ill-fitting leather clothes, hammering on the roof, sort of fixing a rotten board. He looks like this. And you think he might be a kind of stone elemental. Also outside, closer to the ground, sort of picking through the seaweed garden, is a green-skinned elven woman with bright red hair. As you guys arrive, Tsuya is sort of yelling at Rangrim, and is saying essentially like, How dare you? Do you think you would get away with this without... Oh no, what was her voice? You think you would get away with this? Murdering Garrett.
How's Rangrim reacting to that?
Rangrim looks sort of tired and disheveled, and he's like, I promise you, I didn't do anything. I was asleep the whole time. You guys land out front. Tsuya sort of ushers you guys over to the front of this door, and she's like, "Oh, they sent you guys. I'm so happy. Please, will you come in and meet everybody?"
It is good to see you well and hale.
It is good to see you too. I just wish it would be under better circumstances.
Yes, we're all saddened by the news of Garrett. Our condolences, Tsuya.
Thank you. I searched for him for a very long time. I'm glad I found him before, well, anything else could happen. She opens up the front door, and sort of calls to the other two people here, and says, Galdanan, Theodore, could you come inside? I'd like everybody to be present. And the two of them sort of nod and say, like, yes, of course, I quite understand, says Galanan. You guys are led into a seating room, and then into a main hall. Roll20 is taking a long time getting there, but it'll get there. In this hallway is another Lokotha, dressed in some ill-fitting but expensive silks, and wearing a obviously fake wig.
I love it.
Oh, visitors! I am so glad to see you. Oh, I just wish it was in better spirits than now. Anyway, you've come to take that man away, and she points a fishy fin at Rangrim. Tsuya sort of calls up and says, Iqbal, can you please come down? And you hear this sort of from one of the doors to the north. And out from one of them steps a massive hulking beetle-like creature. A Trox. He has big white teeth in like fangs and hideous-looking claws and a beetle shell on his back. He would look incredibly scary if it wasn't for the fact that his arms can't swim well, so he's just sort of slowly pushing himself off things. It should also be noted that he has 4 arms. He says, "You better be quick." Yeah, you guys are sort of led into this room, and everyone's kind of looking around, sort of wondering what happens next.
Well, we were certainly contracted to come here and speak with Rangrim. I don't know about take him away. And certainly the work that's going to go into trying to prove or verify his innocence or guilt is going to take some time. I don't know about it being quick.
Well, you better be quick, says Lady Clapperboot. My people are sending guards over. They should be here in 2 days, and if they find out, if there gets here on time, they will take him away and strap him to all sorts of machinery. It is very, what do you call it, barbaric.
I was thinking kinky.
Can someone
Oh.
speak to the nature of what transpired here?
So yeah,
Yeah, Rangrim, how'd you kill him?
I promise, I didn't do anything. I was literally just asleep. Please, everybody, I think it would be a good idea for us to tell our story.
Yeah, of course. I completely agree with you, Rangrim. So, Lady Clablabloot, if I'm getting that right, where'd you get those eyelashes?
Oh, I skinned a sea urchin.
I think what Chauncey means to say is, could you please elaborate on how the victim was found?
Yes, of course. He is downstairs. I will bring you there as soon as we explain the situation. I should introduce everybody. I am Lady Clablabloot. I am, as much as you may be surprised, I am actually a Locathar. I am a bit of a human fan. I would say a aficionado of humanity.
Oh, wow. Wow. I feel like I just took damage from that.
Rangrim sort of says, "You guys know me. I'm Rangrim. I just showed up and I've been asleep since I got here."
I want to do a perception on Rangrim to see if it's truly Rangrim. Zachary thinks it might be someone in disguise.
Yeah. So for Pathfinder, I think that they've sort of gotten rid of players doing that
Right.
sort of insight, and it's more
Sure.
if he was that he'd be making a deception check against you.
Okay.
But you guys don't notice anything passively about Rangrim. He does seem a bit more disheveled, and he seems tired and a bit worried, which is unsurprising considering he's been framed for murder. Or believes he's framed for murder.
Nick, I'm just gonna say this lady Clababloot. I can't even say it. Clababloot.
Yes!
Yeah.
That portrait
Bravo.
is awesome. Like, it is fantastic.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
I've been trying to
You're
picture what
You're
you
just-
look like while you were designing it.
It's cracking me up just looking at it. So
She is,
Love
she's quite a lady. A beautiful woman.
Yeah, can you send me that picture if I ever want to play a Triton?
Yes, of course. The others will introduce themselves. The woman steps forward and says, "I am Ganalisle of Tarn. I am an alchemist and wizard. I was visiting Ganalisle because there is an occult symposium here. I am slightly frustrated that Lady K has forced everyone to stay here, and I would like to leave immediately because I want to get a good seat. Besides," and she turns to you, Zacharias, and says, "Tarn is a race protected by the Ignal Suzerainty. I should be exempt from this. You should protect me. And I would like you to make me a check, maybe a
Okay.
religion or society, to see if that's actually part of the Ignal code."
I will have to do religion since my society is -1.
And can I pop a guidance on him? I'll
So-
pat him on the shoulder.
With a guidance, you actually, you're pretty sure that's not how it works.
Okay.
The plane you're on has jurisdiction, not just a random person.
Gotcha.
Do you respond to her?
Yes, yeah.
Zacharias not think that true. Zacharias not do that. Ignal sincerity does not do that.
I'm saying it being kind of sort of sure, but sort of unsure.
Yeah, for sure. She seems to sort of look at you slightly and is like, well, it was worth a shot.
So, where's the body of this Garrett?
They said that they will bring you there as soon as they've all introduced themselves. The man from outside, the Stone Ganassi, he is again, dressed in sort of leather armor and just sort of ill-fitting clothing, but he's very serene, and he sort of bows to you guys as best he can from underwater and says, My name is Theodore Petrovas. I am a monk from a temple called Kato. It is dedicated to knowledge. I am also here because of the occult symposium. But unlike some guests, I understand the situation, and I do not mind waiting for a fair result to appear. Everyone sort of looks at Ichtbel, and he's just sort of like, what? And Lady Cloudalute is like, oh, Ichtbel! No, this is Ichtbel. He hates humans.
Charming.
If you get
Well,
near
good
my
thing
room...
we don't have any humans here.
Yeah, I was about to say.
If you come near my room, I will eat you.
Chauncey's not really human, per se.
I guess technically they would have been saying humanoids.
Humanoids. Yeah.
After Ichtbel excuses or tells you this, he excuses himself and goes back upstairs.
I kind of growl in passing at him as he walks off.
Lady Cloudblue leads you into the same doorway that Ichtbel left from, where there is a sort of a series of I'm just going to put a vision marker there. There are a number of staircases leading both up and down. And she leads you down to the basement. Pasting tokens.
So, I'm just wondering, is this Galanan and Theodore a suspect or just a witness?
Well, they might be suspected, but, well, until I can get proof, I don't want to allow anyone to leave. And Galanan says, me and Theodore, we have alibis. Rangrim is the only one who does not. They bring you downstairs to find the body of Garrett, which I have marked with an X. Downstairs here, it is a large basement under the main floor, 2 interior staircases that lead up to the main floor, and 1 door that leads to a exterior entrance. This exterior entrance has a padlock on the outside. You can see that Garrett is been dead for a while, and everybody here will attest that nobody has gone downstairs. Everything looks the same as the moment they arrived, or they first spot this.
Is he actually dead?
He is. As he sort of floats and rotates, you spot a massive fist-sized hole in his back that is singed and almost like cauterized.
It's going to be important that we establish some kind of timeline. Exactly when does everybody agree that he died around, time-wise?
Can I do a medicine?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't trust what people say. I'd rather trust actual facts. So, bada boom.
Bada boom. 18 medicine check as you look over. Tsoya kind of raises a hand to stop you because she has met you before. But you can determine that yes, the cause of death seems to be from a fist-sized burn wound. From your basic knowledge of it, it looks to be either a magical fire spell or a alchemist's fire. Either way, it must have been done at point-blank range because of the underwater nature of the plane.
Judging by the size of the wound, can we sort of ascertain, does it look like a normal, fist size entry point?
Basically, yeah. As for LK, you were saying a timeline. They say that this happened yesterday. Exactly
Morning,
at
night?
noon. Or effectively at noon.
Okay. He would probably look over at Chauncey. He would note that down, and as Chauncey's kind of looking at the corpse and investigating his thing, LK will cast message. Never get a chance to use this. No. We have, and I will say to him, "Did you find anything unique about the corpse?" And only you would hear that. And then,
Well, there.
Can I respond?
I would like to interrupt you guys because there is a bit more information that you should know before
Yeah.
you act.
and I just want to have two things going. I wanted that to have happened with him, and I want to run a detect magic pulse
Okay.
right before anything we learn anything.
So, first, Chauncey, you notice one other thing, and you notice this particularly because of Greysong. Garrett has the same growth on his chest as Greysong's face.
He's been getting around.
Uh,
So, oh, you mean the dead guy has the same stuff?
Yeah, the dead guy has the same face as Greysong. Or rather, on his chest is that same spreading. Also, his backpack has been torn open, and stuff is strewn about the room.
Where is that?
Sort of just all around this X, all around
okay.
him. So, for Detect Magic, you detect no magic within 30 feet, though I imagine you're spending some time going about and casting it a few times. You do detect magic over on this, eastern... Nope, I was right the first time. Western staircase leading upwards.
Okay. Do I don't learn the School of Magic, do I?
No, not until you get to a higher level.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
if he did the message to Chauncey,
Yes.
it says I can use a
Free action to respond.
yeah.
Yeah.
Could I just tell LK, be like, can you pretend that you know how to speak to the dead? I want to see if these guys have a reaction.
LK will wink at him and then proclaim strongly he will begin into an academic tirade about necromancy. So the art of necromancy is a delicate one. It involves a number of particular arcane features that are unique in terms of its spellcraft. And he would start kind of pulling cards out, and he would start muttering almost fake languages, and he's like, I will now attempt to contact him from beyond the grave. It's almost like a horrible showman with it. So there is a deception going on in that. If you
I would like you to make a deception check, but I'd like you to subtract your charisma and add your intelligence. And make it an intelligence-based deception check. Because you are using your knowledge more than your showmanship, I would imagine. Unless,
Okay.
actually, your charisma's better.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, be like, okay, we'll get the guy to accuse his own killer. Kind of like, you guys ever watch Altered Carbon?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's essentially what gave me the idea.
While this is going on, Mick, I'm going to approach Sasoya and ask her, has anyone, aside from us, done anything with the body?
No. There's been no touching down here.
Excellent. I will transform into wolf form and see if I can just observe the scents around the room, particularly around the body, see if anything stands out.
Yeah.
So when he does his deception, I'd be like, paying attention to people I don't know. I already think Rangrim's too stupid to come up with a proper alibi. So he's just like,
I really see him as
he's the
Thor
dummy
at this
guy.
point.
Yeah.
Okay, you do this perfectly. Mahar is kind of surprised. He said, "Oh, I tried speaking with him before, but I didn't do that well."
The spellcraft is tremendously complex. I have to reach into the depths of my spell book, and he's kind of almost like very much acting it like he was at the menagerie still.
So is anybody like? I'm paying attention to the lady here, Theodore, because he's got the evil eyes going.
Yeah. So looking at everybody, Lady
Let's
Yeah,
get they look
I-
worried.
Yeah, and Zachary is probably just trying to watch everybody mostly just to see if he sees anything strange using perception,
Yeah.
like oddities.
Rangrim is sort of confused more than anything. Theodore looks perfectly fine with this, though is intrigued at the magic being used. Galanan and Lady Clababloot both seem to be hiding nervousness. Just a little bit.
I'm going to assume that I don't pick up on that because I'm kind of busy feigning the performance.
What they will say is sort of, did you get anything, LK?
And I would kind of look at Chauncey and almost start panicking, like I'm clearly acting.
This can be very disturbing. Maybe I'll let the little man do his work, and I'll try like scooting him up the stairs.
Well,
I will channel his voice from beyond the grave through that mundane rabbit, and then Harvey will be like, yeah.
fully want a cracker. What do you want? What you looking at? Lady Clababloot, before she gets shuffled off, she will say, don't you want to hear our testimonies?
Yeah, I'll take it upstairs. Believe me, you don't want to see what that comes out of that rabbit.
So yeah, they'll lead you upstairs, or you'll lead them upstairs. I'm gonna keep you guys on the same sort of map because it's hard for streaming to put both on both. But Mahar will stay down with you guys and sort of lean in and be like, I've never seen magic like this. This is...
Neither have I.
What were you hoping to accomplish here?
I'm not entirely sure. And I would kind of look, hopefully, at Chauncey.
Yes.
I can tell you guys that the... Are we... So is anybody else in earshot right now?
Soya and Zachris and Greysong. And I guess Mahar.
I would mention that the door on the west side of the building is certainly magical in some way. I'm picking up some, and look at Glob and say, vibrations from it.
Mahar goes, I do have something that might help. And he sort of takes out his pack and says, this is a spyglass. It detects the presence of previously cast magic.
Fascinating. And LK would almost like try to grab it.
He'll let you take it, and he'll say, I think it's best not to tell them that I gave you this, but I also don't think they'll trust me when it comes to proving Rangrim's innocence. I guess I am a little of, what's the word he's looking for? He does have like a moment of, he's Rangrim's friend, and thus shouldn't be trusted. Conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's the word.
So yeah, he'll show you how to work it, and what you can do now is essentially detect magic, but get sort of a sense of past magic that's been done in the last week.
Do I just look through it?
Yeah. There's activation things, but you can do them.
Okay, I would try to do them relatively discreetly, almost like turn my back to everybody and kind of stick my eyeball in it.
So what you can see in this room, it takes you about 20 minutes to actually go through the room, but you see that there is indeed an evocation spell that was cast right behind his back. And that happened at approximately the same time that they claimed he died. Or rather, slightly before the time they claimed they found him. As for the western staircase, that is actually... on the staircase is actually an evocation. Sorry, not evocation, an abjuration. And you can make an Arcana check to feel out more about it.
Okay, fair enough. LK would continue his act of like talking to the dead and rambling, and he'd be like, "The spirit guides me to this door," and he would put his hand on it and kind of hold it up.
Well,
and you said it was what kind of magic? Sorry.
Abjuration, protective.
Is that shielding? Protective, yeah.
Yeah.
His spirit is directing me towards this door, and then.
Well, all of the other guys are upstairs now with Shanti.
Oh, they've gone?
Yeah. I've just kept them on the map because it's
LK
difficult.
would keep doing that and then look back and realize that he doesn't have to and be like, oh, for God's sakes. And he would turn back around and say, the door is protected by some kind of abjuration magic. I'm almost positive that an evocation spell was cast somewhere behind him. By whom, I'm not sure. If I could get some conversation with them upstairs, potentially work out what they know about magic, it might narrow down the list.
If you want to make an Arcana check about finding more details with these...
Yeah, I absolutely will.
Does Greysong pick up anything with his special nose?
I will definitely get to that after this. 24 is pretty good. You can definitely tell it was a fire spell cast behind him, so it was not alchemical fire. And the abjuration is actually a alarm spell. You can tell that this alarm spell was cast about 2 days ago and warded the area from... essentially, it would have triggered if anyone walked down that staircase. It is fully intact. However, you also notice on the northern staircase, there is a dispelled version of that had already been triggered. So both staircases had a alarm that would have triggered if anyone went down.
And I would relate to the group that the doors both appear to have been alarmed at some point with spellcraft. I can't speak for if the one that's existing, and he would point to the west and say if anybody has a passcode for it or some way to disable it. But this one certainly has been disabled.
Greysong, your nose, make me a perception check. And I'll add in the stuff that you can get with scent. Because I totally forgot you could smell things.
Yep.
You smell, actually quite strongly. There is the smell of Garrett and all of the other people. But you smell particularly strong smell of fish. And not Lokatha, but like... specifically a minnow or a tilapia. I'm just throwing out fish names. But there definitely was a fish swimming around here.
There's a cod, goldfish, maybe some salmon.
There's no reason to flounder on that, so you can.
I mean, I just gave you the information for the halibut. Other than that, there's not too much strong smelling things. The barrels in this room are full of sort of meat smells. It smells like beef. And actually, I will say you smell something in this, not this corner over here on the eastern side of the room. You can smell a sort of in the wall. There seems to be a crack and coming out of it, there is some water that smells more like a brimstone-y thing.
I'll
Would
kind
he
of
be able
like
to pick up a trail? Like, was he killed, or did he die here, or like
He did die here.
somewhere and moved here?
From best guess is that he died here, yeah. There's been no lies yet.
I'll kind of woof in back in the party's direction.
Doggy paddle your way over.
And kind of look meaningfully at the crack and kind of maybe paw up at the area.
I want to use, if I can, like survival, just to see. I know a lot of people just came through here, but see if there's any other tracks that maybe are out of place or.
Yeah, for sure.
As I walk, that would be while everybody's kind of doing their thing, and then I'll walk over to where Grace is.
Yeah, give me a survival.
Okay.
See if you can get 27.
Nope.
18. It's not bad. You are fairly certain that even with the additional difficulty of everyone is swimming, so no one can really leave a trail, you don't pick up any, like, streams of piss or anything. You don't find anything out of the ordinary. It seems like everything they've told you is true. I will say it's... you get the sort of same thing as Greysong, that you just detect something coming from between those two barrels. Sort of a crack in the wall.
Can I see anything more than you described? I know you described it, but is there anything additional?
One of the barrels, now that you guys are here and looking closely, Greysong, you'd also notice this. One of the barrels has a small key lock. The one to the right of the crack.
Okay.
I should go upstairs, or have you guys, we'll switch the camera over to Chauncey and get everyone's testimonies, I guess.
Okay.
Lady K will gather everybody and sort of speak to you, Chauncey, and is like, well, I hope that I can explain this all correctly. Let me tell you of the last few days. Well, about 3 days ago, I had no guests here. I was quite alone. It was so lonely. Ganalisle arrived 3 days before the murder. She was so nice to me. She offered me minnows as a treat. We talked about food and all sorts of things. Iqbal arrived 2 days before the murder. He's sweet. And once you get to know him, though... And Ganalisle will be like, he did say that he was going to murder me. But Iqbal never left his room. Well, he did leave his room quite a bit, but only... wait, what accent am I doing? He did leave his room quite a bit, but only going to the washroom. He spent most of his time between those two rooms. You know, I once saw a large assortment of treasure in his room, but he told me that it was nobody's business. Garrett arrived the day before, the next day, 1 day before his murder. He came directly to me, in the early morning. Ganalisle and Iqbal didn't see him. He seemed anxious, and, well, he wanted nobody to know that he was here. As a favor to him, I allowed him to stay in the basement, though I really wish I didn't. I hope I didn't cause his murder in some way. When Ganalisle asked about the alarm that triggered when he came in, you heard it, right? The wind chimes. I must have told her that it was a false alarm. I am a master deceiver, after all. And Ganalisle will sort of lean over to you and be like, she is terrible at lying. Lady K told her that it was a false alarm, and, well, I can tell you that Garrett never left the basement. Though he did tell me that he was going to set up some additional magical wards downstairs. I don't really know anything about it, but... they would trigger an alarm if anyone but me or him went down the staircase. And at this, you actually would notice that Ganalisle's eyebrows raise. She seems surprised at this. A few hours after Garrett arrived, Rangrim arrived. At the time, I didn't know they were from the same guild. Rangrim was clearly exhausted from travel, and he went straight to bed. He says that he remained there until the next morning, but I have no way to confirm that. And Rangrim's just like, honestly, I got nothing. On the day of the murder, I served the guests their breakfast in their rooms. Then I brought Garrett some food. He was alive and well. Later that morning, Therodor arrived. He was extremely polite, immediately offered to help patch the roof while he stayed. He spent the day outside. Him and Galanin were outside all day. Around noon, Galanin and Therodor came in for lunch. I realized I didn't have enough beef, so I went downstairs. And that is when I found Garrett's body. I screamed. Ganalisle and Therodor immediately came down. And when they came down, they triggered the staircase alarm. With Ganalisle and Theodore outside, only Rangrim or Iqbal could have done it. Ganalisle and Therodor say they're on opposite sides of the house, but, well, Ganalisle heard Therodor hammering the whole day, and, well, Rangrim has the magic items to detect the presence of people, and he has the motive. He gained standing in the guild, and he had the means to do it. He can cast fire spells. That is our story.
From what I understand is Rangrim's not a wizard or spellcaster of any kind. He uses his swords. Like, he's got a bunch of swords, and they do damage, right?
He will say, like, no, I have picked up a couple cantrips from Mahar. But, really all I know how to do is, cast fire bolts and daze people.
Well, the boy, his body, the dead guy, Garrett, you said it was like a big round blast?
Yeah, it would have had to be a firebolt, like, right there. Ganalisle and Therodor will say that... Sorry?
Like, the wound itself, it looks like it was blown inward, not outward?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Ganalisle and Therodor will, for the sake of completion, tell you that they both can cast fire spells as well. However, Iqbal and Lady K have no magic ability. With that, is there any other questions you would like to ask, or should we skip back to downstairs?
Yeah, I don't think Chauncey would care what they're saying at all. Like, he'd tell everybody downstairs, right? But he's used to just everybody not speaking the truth. So, like, I think I'd look for more, like, solid evidence, not just circumstantial. Like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, they can do that. No, I can't do that. So,
yeah, well, so what you guys can do is you guys can meet back up, assuming that you guys can allow everyone to come back downstairs. Or actually, do you want to investigate this barrel before Lady K comes back downstairs?
I think I would just keep them talking until somebody came and got me.
Okay.
I'd be asking them...
Zachris, you're muted.
But yeah, I'd be asking them just dumb questions just to, like, prolong them being upstairs, buying some time. Let the nerd and the super nose do their thing.
Yeah, Zachris, can you hear us?
We
can't hear you.
Saw what you said, but can't hear it. Nope.
There also seems to be a pretty big delay. I wonder if servers are being held hostage because of the Saturday night fever.
Could be. Wow. Wow. Full of the puns tonight.
I'm sorry. I can see you, Eric.
Nope.
No voice.
Did you change your mic setup for GridFam?
strange if nothing changed. First video, now audio.
Alright, he's gonna... 1 second. I think he's gonna come back in. Alright.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Can hear you now.
Yeah, I reloaded it real quick.
Did Tetsuya tell us at all what she was doing?
Tetsuya arrived after the murder and after the lockdown. She was here because she was coming to the occult symposium as well. Sorry, I'm mixing her up. Tetsuya was here because she was tracking Garrett and found that he was dead before she got here.
Speaking of the occult symposium or whatever, is Maya Nomesis here as well?
Not at this inn, though you are hearing more and more about this, and you think that this is the same occult symposium.
Could I ask, what was Garrett actually doing here?
Tetsuya says, I honestly have no idea. He ran away after I left from him back when you first met me. That was about a month ago. I've been tracking him since, but he's been jumping from plane to plane. I got a tip that he was here, and I was just lucky, I guess. That was the wrong accent, but whatever. She says that.
So, what was the tip that led you here? Maybe, someone else followed him.
It's possible. I don't know the last few places he was. It was another one of the Incurration members. They thought he spotted him passing through the plains. I don't know what plane he was in last.
Okay.
She unfortunately doesn't have any helpful information for this. Grace, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I'm curious about the keyhole you said. Where at the barrel is it located?
It's kind of on like the edge of the barrel. Like it's definitely hidden, and this is a false barrel.
So okay, so like the barrel opens.
Yeah.
What is the crack? Like the cracks in the wall between it, like behind it,
Yeah.
is. Can I tell? Does it look like foundational? Just sort of natural appearing crack, or does it appear like it was struck? Like can I tell anything about it?
It seems more like behind the barrel in question, there is maybe a cave or something.
Oh, got you. So crack is in like this. Okay.
Yeah, and you smell sort of this ashy, brimstony smell.
And I'll call
God.
okay over.
Are we gonna have troubles with those rats, or maybe that cat lady came back?
Yeah, okay, you can come over and see.
Should Zacharias open these for you?
I think LK would, I guess, tap on the barrel. This is the door that's on the barrel. You said there's like a hatch with a keyhole?
Yes.
And then behind the barrels, there's the crack in the wall.
Yes.
Okay. So as far as, I don't have any lockpick tools, but I think Chauncey might.
Chauncey does, yeah.
I'll kind of take a cursory look at it with the magic detecting thing, and see either if the wall behind anything I can see within there has any magic, or the barrel.
No magic around the area at all.
Well, I can tell you that the lock is not magical in nature. We could wait for Chauncey to delicately approach this, or I suppose we could simply break it apart. You kind of size up Zacharias' arms and like look at the barrel.
Zacharias can do these.
Can I do a check for traps on it before he does?
Yeah.
Sure.
Roll me a perception.
Perception. I have a very high thievery as well.
Oh, okay.
Perception's higher.
Thievery is more for the disabling, less of the noticing.
Okay.
I could use perception, I guess.
Yeah, you guys can both roll if you'd like.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll increase the DC slightly as you get in each other's way, but it doesn't seem to be trapped at all. You can notice that it hasn't been opened in quite a while, maybe a few weeks. It's made of a metal that actually rusts, so it seems to be slowly gaining rust over time.
I think you'd be safe to open it, my friend.
Okay.
Tsutoya will offer, like, if you want Chauncey to come down, I could distract them upstairs.
No need to bother. Zacharias is quite effective.
Zacharias can do these.
Or not.
15 is enough. This is water-damaged wood. And you open up the barrel into a small cave system.
Okay. All right. I will. I'll go through.
Inside this cave, there is another cave heading to the east, and at the end of that, you notice a strange arcane sigil drawn on the ground.
I will not approach it, and I will summon the rest to me.
Zacharias, see something. Come.
I'll drag you guys down here.
I will. I'm gonna tell Harvey to go up and fill in Chauncey on what's happening.
Yeah, sounds good. What do you want to do about it? Do you want to fight about it? Anyway,
Bring me back down a deep dish pizza. Yeah. Okay, we'll go in 100%.
Yeah. So you go into the this room.
He's using his lens thing kind of to look at actually everything as he wanders around. He's fascinated with his device.
So the area around has some coral around the ground growing on the cave walls that lights everything up, and the arcane symbol actually seems to be not magical in itself. There is sort of a sign that it has been used for magic, but it's been so long that you sort of can't tell exactly how long it's been. Definitely more than a few weeks.
Is the symbol, or can I do a decipher like writing on the symbol or anything like that to see what like it might belong to linguistically / like spell notation wise?
Yeah. You actually look at it closely, and I'm gonna tell you that you think it might be more arcane, occult than anything. So it would be an occult check to decipher this.
I will begin to do so.
Mick,
It would appear as though there's. And go ahead, sorry.
no, I was just going to ask, is the brimstone smell stronger in here? And if so,
Yes.
does it have a direction where it seems to emanate?
It is what is the sigil is etched with. Sorry, I should have described that. Yeah, the sigil is definitely what is emitting the smell.
Well, it would appear that this was once perhaps an active magical site, but I can't detect anything in the recent past. I can certainly start to potentially work this out, and he would start kind of drawing it down on paper and kind of thinking about it.
Okay. Not bad. You're not sure exactly what it is, but it seems to be communicative in nature. A sort of a conjuration not meant to transmit people, but maybe sounds or messages. The location you have no idea, though it would have to be on this plane.
Mick, I've got a question. And first of all, did Chauncey let us know about the growth on
That's a good
Garrett?
question.
I didn't hear anything, so I didn't react.
Probably not in front of everybody.
Okay. Then never mind.
I mean, if the bunny brought me down, I'd definitely tell you what I'm thinking.
He wouldn't necessarily tell you to go down, but he would have been. I would have probably told him to go up and let you know that we found a group-splitting hole in a wall.
Greysong, what I will say is you did notice, because you got a really high perception anyways, you would have noticed that he has the same thing. And something that I probably should have mentioned when you made the perception check before, you noticed a few other things that, with Tsutoya's help, can also shed some light. Well, actually, muddle things further. Tetsuya knows basically everything that Garrett carries around with him in his bags. So, like, his water skin and his rope, she recognizes all that. The only thing she doesn't recognize is there is a strip of goldish paper, almost like a chocolate bar wrapper, basically, that is crumpled up and in one of his back pockets. There's also a small, sort of watertight glass jar that has a sort of a sticky membrane over the whole of it, seemingly like some kind of alchemist tool.
Knowing what I know about the progression of the growth on myself, how old would I gauge that, or how long would I gauge that he has had this affliction? If it's making the assumption it followed the same trajectory.
Making that assumption, you think that it's probably been about 2 months. Keeping in mind that at this point you guys have been on the plains for about 1 month.
So prior to us meeting him.
Tetsuya, actually, I forgot, would also mention one other thing. His roamer is missing. Sorry, I've split up this information a bit, but you guys are in this cave, and LK doesn't detect any more than that.
Is this an exit or entrance right here?
It is. It goes to another barrel that has another keyhole.
Can I do survival just to see if there were any tracks leading?
Yeah. Yeah, survival would be great. It looks like at some point there was passage through here. And the way you're sort of looking at it, the etches on the side of the barrel look like they were made by the dangly earrings that Lady K wears on her
Yeah, her
tendrils. Whiskers, yeah.
Okay.
However, it doesn't look like she's been here in a while.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, what would you guys like to do?
So LK's getting less and less interested with like no magic stuff going on in here, and he's kind of like, this is a tremendously interesting cave, and he would kind of like probably meander back into the general area.
Does the cave, the cave just comes to, I guess I can scroll down and look. There's
no other connections.
Can I search around to see if there might be like a hidden entry point that we haven't spotted?
Or fish eggs or something?
Yeah, make me another perception check as you investigate around.
So, to throw all the information we have together, he died from a fire blast to his back. There's 3 potential people that can cast that kind of magic or have access to that. You said there was no alchemical. It wasn't an alchemical blast.
It didn't look like it. Yeah. Let me finish this first, and then we'll do the recap. You are now, Greysong, you are 100% sure that this is entirely internal. There's no exits from this cave. Everything is just too stale and too closed in.
Second question is on the symbol. Did I miss a detail? Did we do a religion check to see if the symbol has a specific meaning to it?
You were LK was pretty sure it was occult in nature.
Well, I mean the whole thing with the symbol having specific meaning.
Yes, this one does not. Or this one is not like one of the planar holy symbols.
Gotcha.
So yeah, to recap, he was killed by fire blast in his back. All of Galanan, Therador, and Rangrim can cast fire magic. Lady Clapperboot cannot, and Ichtbel could not. There is the golden paper and the glass jar that are strange, and his roamer is missing. There is the alarm has been triggered on the northern staircase, but not on the western staircase. And sorry,
It's been triggered, or it was dispelled.
triggered.
It had been triggered, yeah.
Okay.
And the external door you guys haven't really investigated yet.
What can I do some tracking to see if there's any distinct footprints in this cave area aside from our own?
There would be no footprints because you're swimming.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I'm not the greatest at finding things. I'm better at acquiring them. Graysong, Tetsuya, what kind of roamer do you remember him having?
So do you come back downstairs to tell them this?
Oh yeah, with
the
I'm
rest of them?
assuming I've been here for a little bit because of Harvey.
So as you guys come back down, before you get a chance to ask Tetsuya anything, Lady Clababloot screams and says, "You guys went in my wine cabinet!"
Zachras not find any wine.
How dare you break into my... I thought you were supposed to be a law force, not a rampaging wine monster.
Zachras search for clues to see who killed this Garrett.
That makes
We
no
have
sense.
the right.
I don't know if you have the right, but you have a good idea.
Well, listen, Clablabloot. If we manage to figure out that this man wasn't murdered in your establishment, perhaps more people like myself will come here. If the word gets out that he died here, then I doubt you'll see any more humans.
Oh, it would be terrible business, yes.
Yeah, so let us do our business properly, madam.
Well, you could have asked me for the key.
Can we have a key?
I believe the keyhole's broken now, but
Zachras
yes.
will kind of try to act like he's fixing it, you know.
Yeah, she'll give you the key to it, but it works on the other barrel, just not this one.
There you go.
You'll just go upstairs and take care of that beautiful hair you have.
Well, if you're having a discussion, I would like to stay here. No, oh, okay.
I'm
And
gonna try crafting to see if I can make it look better.
Fix it. She hears a big crash and sort of...
Zachras, sorry.
She doesn't respond. Ganalisle will say, well, did you find anything that proves this man as the murderer he is?
So two things that LK would try to relate to people, and he would probably do it while almost wandering around the room investigating and looking at things, and he would be using messages to communicate with the group members in particular. And he would just want everybody to effectively know, one, that it's fully possible that obviously spell scrolls could have been used to replicate the magic at a close range by somebody, or some other means of magic might have been used that isn't necessarily casting. That doesn't exonerate anybody, and it might actually be a good cover.
It could be a trap as well.
Yeah.
What did you say the magic was on the circle though?
Magic on the circle was communicative.
Gotcha.
And he would fill everybody in on what that kind of circle in the back was. That despite being a wine cellar, it's been used more obviously as a place for an occult ritual of communication with something, though not for some time.
Yeah, so whatever he's communicating with might have done the damage. So I'm thinking the way Galleon is acting, I don't know if she would have actively killed him, but I think she's got the roamer. Like she came in here and started rummaging through his shit.
Do roamers give off magic?
Yes. If you detect magic, she will ping magic.
She pings magic. Does anybody else?
Yes.
Obviously, Rangrim would.
Rangrim would. Theodore and Galanan would. And Lady Clapabloot, if you went upstairs, would not.
I'm assuming Rangrim still has all of his weapons, or have they been?
They've been taken away, but he's still wearing like magic armor. Ixbel will not let you in his room to detect magic in there.
Really?
Unless you want to go up and try.
I mean, can you cast your magic through Hardy?
No. Well, no. Well, we'd have to wait a day. But
I
yes.
will kind of snag in my jaws a little bit the LK sleeve and like lead him over to the body and kind of nudge at the folded up golden paper.
Yeah, I would take the paper. I assume that's still on the body and the globe of water still on the body?
The jar of air is on the body.
Jar of air.
Yes.
Sorry.
Jar of air is on the body. There is the thing. As you look at it closer, you can actually recognize it as a ticket of some kind. In addition, something I completely forgot. I'm really sorry. I am not on my A game right now. But you also detect a few shreds of burnt wood in the water as well, nearby. Not paper, like it's not scroll paper or scroll wood, but
Arrow?
yeah, something like an arrow or even just a 2x4. But it's burnt to a crisp.
While I'm picking up that paper and the jar, so first of all, do I notice the affliction the same as Greysong's?
Yes.
It's like obvious?
It is, yeah. If you sort of like lift up his shirt at all, if you investigate the skin, it is very obvious.
Seeing it, LK would probably also say to Greysong, my friend, we're going to need to bring this body back to the Ifray if we have any hope of finding out what the affliction is. His will be a good, counter point of analysis. And then I guess I'll take and investigate the two objects, the ticket and the jar. See if there's anything intrinsic about them that I need to know.
Nothing magic about either of them.
Okay.
Hey, Galoob.
Yeah.
You wouldn't happen to feel any kind of aroma vibration somewhere in here, eh?
Not in this room. No. Also,
Do you mind if I just take you around?
yeah, for sure. I
You
like
want the-
seeing things.
I like showing you things.
One thing I should mention, that portal thing back there, yeah, it's been dead for months. It hasn't been used forever.
Mick, the spot where he has the affliction, he doesn't have like the actual like replaced heart, right?
You'd have to open him up.
Okay.
Well, he's already kind of opened up from the back.
I will transform back, and I will kind of gesture LK over to the side. I think perhaps we might want to take opportunity to observe this a little bit more closely. There's more to this than just a simple affliction. Perhaps there's no better way to talk about this than to just illustrate, but this affliction is intentional. It's not incidental. And I will sort of pull the shirt to the side and show where it's like very visibly growing out of a spot in Greysong's chest.
Same spot on the corpse's chest?
No, the corpse doesn't have nothing around the heart, but that doesn't mean that it's
Where does his stem from, if anywhere?
more of the stomach. Oh wow, I am on Twitch right now, and I am just noticing that Eric is going wild.
Whoa. Yeah. Just started.
It was doing that earlier. It's kind
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
it looks like you're washing your camera lens.
Audio only might be the best way to go for the time being.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's perfectly fine and great.
he's fine here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
If I disable it and re-enable it, it seems to,
fix itself.
yeah.
That's
Reset.
bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. There,
So
was
sorry.
there was a Windows update, so who knows?
Yeah.
I will say further this.
While you guys discuss this, I'm going to quickly grab a Chewy bar. I will be right back.
I'm gonna actually.
My heart is not my own.
Do you mean in a physical or a metaphorical sense?
Grey Song's in love.
I don't know how precisely to answer that question.
I'm back.
Fair enough. Not much is straightforward when it comes to the Fae. He would probably reiterate, we absolutely need to take this body back to be able to examine it further. We might need the eyes of a medical professional, and he would look at Shotzi. I'm going to take a around the room and say, does anybody know what this ticket is for? And kind of kind of crinkle it and kind of hold it up, unless it's like stupid obvious and says it on it.
As you uncrinkle it,
The Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
It says that it's for a seat in the Occult Symposium. Galanan and Theodore and Rangrim will all sort of nod and say, yes, we have one too.
What exactly was the nature of this symposium? What was the topic?
It was all sorts of things. It was largely a trade of sorts. It's meant to trade ideas with the occult community. This plane has a strong presence of spiritual nature.
And sorry, we established that Rangrim and Mahar and Satsoya know Garrett, right?
Yep. All of them are
They all work
Incorporation
in
members.
Yeah. So, Rangrim, Mahar, do you know if Garrett was aiming to learn anything in particular, trade any particular type of occult knowledge here, or acquire anything? Do you know what the Incorporation might have sent him for, if it sent him at all?
They have no idea. Tsoya, I do not think he was sent by the Incorporation. He would have gone back to Yefri if that was the case.
You said you had met up with him. You'd found him how long ago, Satsoya?
I haven't seen him.
Oh,
I was
she didn't
tracking
find
him. No, yeah, she was tracking him. She found him here.
Oh. And did Aliska let her know that he was here dead? Is that how she came to know that? Or she just found him here?
Tsoya has been tracking him for about a month now. And
What
has...
exactly brought you to this locale, Satsoya? What led you here?
She goes over again that it was just a tip that another Incorporation member had mentioned that this might be his location.
So, does this ticket have like his name on it?
No.
Or is it just like a free ticket to whoever has it?
Basically, yeah.
Not gonna make it that easy on me.
Did Greysong walk over the sigil in the ground in the cave?
I mean, you guys aren't walking again. You're swimming. But,
Yes, but was he like on that horizontal plane above it? at some point?
Perhaps, yeah.
Okay. And nothing untoward happened?
No.
Okay.
It hasn't been activated in a very long time.
I'm interested to know if it can be.
Yeah, does it look like it's been molested
Okay.
at all? Like someone tried to reactivate
That's
it?
an interesting question. So I'm going to go back through. Like we know that like paper and such is not affected by the water here, right?
That's right.
I will go back through the paintings and see if there is anything that looks familiar here.
You recognize one of the paintings does look like this plane, but nothing around this location. Perhaps elsewhere on this plane.
Okay.
So, is Glob picking up any of the vibrations of that roamer as I'm walking around upstairs, going around, avoiding Bugman's room?
Faces.
Yeah, you got it.
He's not sure. He actually can't really detect the roamer as opposed to any other magical item. He can tell you that he basically can tell what is from what plane, what people are from what plane.
Okay, so since Chauncey's a dirty crook, could I go around searching the rooms, not the bug guy's room, but everyone else's rooms while they're downstairs or something?
Yeah.
I'd just be looking for the roamer primarily.
I forget. Can everybody see through each other's tokens?
Yeah, I can see Chauncey right now.
So yeah, Chauncey, there are a number of rooms. I'm going to point out, we're just going to paint on the map.
Okay. Speaking of which, did Clablabloot give me a ring of keys, or just the single key for that one room?
The single key for that barrel.
Okay. Is it possible to is there maybe a ring of keys to bedrooms behind the counter somewhere?
Yeah, there would be a ring a key ring on the bottom counter, or the middle floor counter.
All right. Well,
so yeah.
I would like to pocket that at some point, so I don't have to actually break into these rooms.
Yeah, for sure. You go up. This is the second floor. You've got the keys. You can see there are tons of doors. The ones that I've marked in green seem to be bedrooms. And the this one is not a bedroom. So the ones I marked in green, the 4 dots are bedrooms. The northern one is Ichtbel's room. So he has it sort of shut, and you can hear him just sort of growling inside.
Yeah, so if anyone's going in there, I think, since he doesn't like humanoids, I think Greysong and a different shape change might be the best route that way, or maybe even Harvey. So I want to avoid that, because I don't want to be food.
Understandably.
Yeah, so I'll just be quietly going into this room, making sure no one's watching me.
This is Rangrim's room. It is it's pretty small. It's has some chains on the outside of it. It looks like he was locked in his room at some point. There's a closet to the south, but it doesn't seem to really contain anything interesting. Is there anything you are looking for in particular?
I'm looking for the roamer, or maybe some sort of magical, I don't know, anything connecting them to the body.
There is a magical amulet there. You were told that the roamer is an amulet. However, this amulet you actually recognize it as one of the ones that Rangrim used to wear. So you can definitely pocket that for put it in your clues pouch.
Sure. Yeah, then
Whose
I'm
room
gonna.
is this? Sorry?
Rangrim's room.
This is Rangrim. Okay.
Yeah, it has his personal roamer.
Okay.
And then, who's the southern one?
This one seems to be the master bedroom. Probably Lady Clablabloot's.
I don't think she's a particular suspect to me.
Okay.
Since she kind of loves people way too much.
So check out the northern one, the upper door, which seems to be Galanan's room.
Yeah.
So this room is Phil. It's much larger than Rangrim's, much more well suited. It seems to be a mess. She seems to be a very messy person, and scattered about the room are a number of alchemical tools that you recognize. But in particular, you recognize the jars that she has have the exact same membrane on top. The jar that was in his possession, Garrett's possession, is Galenan's. Or at the very least, Galanan has a bunch of them.
What exactly are they?
It's basically actually, a number of them have water inside and small fish samples inside. They seem to be something that you could take like a syringe and poke it through the membrane, so you can put things in and take them out without it being tainted by the water.
Okay. So, is the roamer in here?
It is not.
Is there any sort of like weapons, maybe a journal? Be like, I killed this guy today.
No weapons. Though the floor has a number of scratches on it, as if someone was dragging a knife across it. You can't tell exactly how long it's been since those appeared.
Is it like in any specific symbol or?
No. More like just all in the same direction. Like someone was sharpening a weapon on it.
Okay. Is that a closet?
It is, yes. You can check out that closet. There is a internal chamber pot. Searching around here and the closet to the south, you find her unmentionables, but nothing else of plot-related note.
Is there anything in the chamber pot that's not supposed to be in there?
No. Only
All
what
right.
is very correct.
Okay. All right. I guess Kloblablut's room would be the last one.
Checking out Kloblablut's room, there is a staggering amount of bras of all shapes and sizes, as well as numerous wigs in chests. Searching carefully through all of them, you find nothing of real note, though she does have a door leading to the outside, to a nice little balcony. Actually, your perception is high enough that you notice one thing here. A secret doorway to the north. Not
I'm
to
all
the north,
for,
but in the north.
Secret doorways. Closet with what are those?
This is a bunch of magical components. It looks actually like the tools that you would use to make that magical sigil downstairs. Though it looks like this room hasn't been used in many weeks.
So if I want to, I guess, reactivate that sigil, I would use some of this stuff?
Yeah, you would use the stuff and make an occult check.
All right. Well, I would definitely like to grab a few of those.
Yeah,
I'm
for
sure LK would be more proficient with it than I would. Just enough to like maybe complete the sigil, get it activated, maybe interrogate whoever's on the other side.
Yeah, makes sense. There's some more doors in Lady Kloblablut's room.
Really? Okay. There's a ton of. Oh.
Get weirder.
Yeah. This door leads to a hallway with a number of doors. The one to the south is a dressing room. It has its own chamber pot and even more bras and wigs. Searching around through there, you're fairly confident there's nothing to find. To the south here, there is what looks like an office, but it looks like a cot has been set up there. You recognize another outfit that looks like Theodor's. It seems like Theodor arrived, she didn't have a room for him, so he is sleeping on a cot in the office. The next sort of room is a just sort of a nice hallway. It has a bunch of knickknacks, a little statue in the northern corner. It's very, like, human fandom.
So, Glob, do you sense anything? Do you see anything?
No, not really. Nothing plainer, at least.
Alright, so, like, throughout all these rooms, I'd be keeping an eye out for the roamer.
Right.
Because he'd have to have a roamer in order to get to this plane.
Yes. The fact that he
Right.
doesn't have it is concerning. Those of you guys downstairs, Chauncey has gone up and him and Glob are investigating as much as they can. What do you guys want to do?
For those of you with magical inclinations, I am one of the Incoration's spellcraft specialists, and will be investigating any capacities that you have that might lead us to conclude your guilt or innocence in this case. You mentioned, you look at Galanam, you mentioned that you were a student of wizardry.
More alchemy, but I do have a few cantrips.
Does anybody carry an active spellbook on them?
No, I would consider myself a sorcerer. And Theodore sort of nods and says that as well.
Rangrim, I assume, does not?
Rangrim does not, yeah.
I kind of need to know what Chauncey's information is going to be.
Theoretically, you could be keeping in contact with messages.
Can you, though? Don't you have to be able to see the person?
That's true. You're right.
I know it's 120 feet, but I thought you had to do it.
Yeah, you do
well,
have to see
no,
it.
I can certainly send Harvey up to like send messages.
Yeah, Harvey can communicate with you. At least give you a gist of everything.
So yeah, I guess we're not getting anywhere with the magic end. I think the sigil we're gonna have to investigate. Do we have the? Are we like in a rush day to time wise? Theoretically, like post up here for the night.
In 2 days, the guards of the big town are coming, and
Right,
they're
so
not.
we at least have a day.
Harvey will kind of whisper to you and be like, "Hey, maybe you should get everyone's individual testimonies, eh? That way you can cross-reference them and see if anyone's lying, eh?"
So.
I like how it's like both from Brooklyn and Canada.
Yes, indeed, Harvey. Thank you for the investigative tip. And then he would get him to go upstairs as well, and I guess check on Chauncey, come back down, and tell me what Chauncey's found, and whatever Chauncey's one that's got to tell him, or unless Chauncey's coming down. But it would be Elke would want like almost the night to try and look at that sigil and investigate further with the body, as well as maybe get these people to trap themselves through a little bit of acting.
Mick, I'm gonna check up here and see for the one that had the disabled trap. Where does that lead?
Well, both of them lead up to the sort of main entrance.
Okay.
The main
so
hallway.
They both go upstairs. Gotcha.
As for the sigil, you guys are fairly certain you've gathered all that you can about it. The body as well. You're pretty confident that you found all the clues that you're going to.
Down here.
Down here, at least, yeah. Ixbel's room is still a mystery to Chauncey, and yeah, whatever Galanan was doing with the jars is.
Yeah.
I should also mention, since you guys are communicating with each other, and Chauncey would have a little bit of an idea. Chauncey, you would notice that Rangrim does in fact have his own ticket. But looking all through Galanan's stuff, she doesn't seem to have one. Theodore also does not have one.
And they said they were specifically here for the symposium?
Yes.
They don't have any in their rooms. They might have them on them.
Correct.
Yeah, because I was going to say they did say that they had one like that each of them.
So if you guys wanted, what you could do is get these guys one by one to sort of give a telling of their version. And Tsutsuya and Mahar can sort of watch the rest of them, make sure that they're not going to go do anything untoward.
So what I've got in my head right now, I'll relate to the group via messages so that nobody kind of hears or otherwise. But LK would want to push for doing that under the guise of sending them to the rooms and having like either Chauncey or Greysong or Zacharias kind of one by one go through the rooms and interrogate them like as they're all stuck in their rooms, and tell them all that what we're going to do is spend the night here, and LK can effect a ritual now that he knows more about the corpse and the dead body. That LK is going to effect a ritual that will allow us to ascertain the truth of the last hours of his life and know exactly who it is, so long as nobody moves the body. We're lucky in that light that nobody moved the body, and then I'd like to set alarms up on everybody's doors once they're locked in their rooms.
Okay.
And hide down here.
Do you have alarm spells?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Oh, I dropped a thing. Yeah, they will definitely go through with this plan. Galanan is sort of almost beside herself, furious that she has to stay here another night. But Theodore is understanding. Ichtbel is eventually will sort of come down and be like, "Can I go yet?" And Lady Kay will be like, "Not yet, dear," and he'll just slam the door.
So he just opens the door and yells down?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if he actually left his room, I'd be like, "There's my chance."
So yeah, and all I would want them to know from my end is that we want them to stay in the rooms, give their testimonies in the rooms, and allow the body to remain unmolested in the basement. And if they do leave it unmolested, we will be able to ascertain the last several minutes of the corpse's life through magic necromancy.
So, I never found the roamer during my entire sweep of upstairs, right?
That's right.
Okay, so I'd hand over LK all the extra little goodies I got from that one room for the ritual, and inform them about the jars in her room. There's the same one in his backpack. I never found any of the tickets on these people apparently going to this place.
Yeah, you convey the information.
After the body was found, nobody else came in or left the inn.
That's right. They were allowed outside on the grounds, but nobody passed through the sort of bubble around this that played a very loud wind chime.
Okay, so before we have go for the break, does anybody have like theories?
I think by dint of just like the dropped obvious clues with what's her name, she looks the most guilty. She both doesn't have the ticket, she both seems to know quite a bit, she doesn't have a roamer, or maybe does, he's missing his, etc, etc. We can kind of, I think we trust Rangrim, at least unless we're going to piss the Inquiration off. And even if we like or don't like the Inquiration, I don't really care, because all they are is a means to get back, and certainly a better means than like these people, or Galanan, or whatever her name is. So like, I don't care really what happens in that way, and I'm now much more interested in getting that corpse back under any conditions. So like, I want to take the corpse back to be able to investigate with Greysong stuff in mind, because it pertains to potentially like us getting home and the research that it might kind of engender.
What about you, Zacharias?
With intelligence of 8, Zacharias thinks
He's
that
pleased to be here.
it's what?
He's just happy to be
Pleased to
included.
be here.
That's right. That's right. He thinks it's the bug man that did it, but but honestly, no. He would be unsure. He doesn't trust the Theodore guy because he's taken it a little too calmly.
He did say that he was a monk.
Oh, okay. Well,
But,
then he definitely doesn't trust him. Yeah,
All we know about monks in this universe is that they burn well.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
What about you, Greysong? You have any theories?
I have a number of theories. How they connect, I can't say at present. I would say that we need to investigate whatever relationships that these people previously had with Garrett, There's obviously a connection, at least in substance, with regard to these jars between Galanath and Garrett. We should investigate what the nature of that relationship is. The only commonality that we have amongst all of the things that we've gathered thus far, aside from the tickets.
Yeah, it is possible that some of the things you found were, and this isn't another pun, but red herrings.
Red herrings, yes.
The other thing that I will say is that the advancement of his affliction suggests that it happened in advance of us appearing on these plains.
He may have run as he did and caused Asoya to go find him because of perhaps a similar interaction with another creature.
Well,
So, my idea is, is Garrett look like a strong guy, or is he more like built like Chauncey?
he's pretty strong, pretty big. Definitely the bulk of a fighter.
Okay, so if we were to talk to Tetsuya, would she like? I want to know if he like, I guess, takes things without permission, because I'm thinking he went up into Galen's room, took some stuff like her ticket, her maybe some of her jars, yeah, and like while I was looking at the jars, do they look like they're just purely alchemical, or could it be like 5e's version of one of those things that the elemental gem where you summon a creature?
You wouldn't know, unfortunately. But very unlikely that there was any summoning, because LK has the recorder, or the spyglass. There was no conjuration around here.
Okay.
I think now is a good time for us to call a quick 5-minute break. 10-minute break, because I gotta use the bathroom. So we will get you guys to give some thought as to where you'd like to interrogate first. And I will see you in a minute.
Sounds good.
Good.
Don't record that.
I did transition the moment you said that, so who knows what's going on.
I feel like I missed something.
You did.
Want to see a magic trick?
Not that kind of magic trick.
Welcome back to the mystery of who killed Roger Garrett. There are a number of people for you guys to talk to. You can get Rangrim, Galanan, Lady Clababloot, Therador, and Ichtbel's testimonies, I guess. Who would you guys like to interrogate first?
So do we want to affect the same plan that we're talking about? Get them isolated, see if we can bait any of them into...
Yeah, I've already put them all in their own rooms.
Sure.
Okay, so the specific key information is that, like, as long as nobody enters the basement, the ritual can be completed, and we will assuredly know.
Okay. Tasoya and Mahar
lie?
will guard it as well. No one particularly minds. I just want to jump to the discussion.
Yep.
Let's start with Galanan, I guess? Or, do you guys have a...
Anybody's good.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Galanan works.
So you get into Galanan's room. She is, a little frustrated, and sort of as you come in, and just like, how long is this going to take?
Well, you don't have to worry about how long it's going to take. I don't think you're ever going to get to that little fancy duty. What's it called?
The symposium.
The symposium. I don't think you have a ticket.
Of course I do. It's right. And she's like patting her cloak, and eventually like checks her jacket pocket, and she's like, "Oh, lords, it's gone! It's gone!" And she is panicking.
Can I discern whether or not she appears to be earnest?
Yeah.
Yeah. If she was deceiving, it would be her deception against your passive perception DC. And you guys don't detect anything but earnesty.
So either Garrett stole her stuff, or yeah, I guess he just stole her stuff, or someone else did.
Do you suspect that this might be your ticket? And would hold up the one that he pulled out the corpse.
She would sort of say like, when I got the ticket, it had a small cut in the corner. And as you unfold it, you notice there's a small cut in the corner of it. So she'll step forward and be like, "Please give that back." Whoops, I didn't mean to resize her.
Whoa! Relax, Galanan.
Step back.
Please give that back. It's very important.
It's evidence, madam.
Yeah, Zach Russell.
Also, there's no cut corner to be seen. LK would do kind of like a sleight of hand and rotate the four corners and show her all four corners, but not showing her all four
Yeah,
corners.
make me a thievery check.
Nice.
Oh, that's really strange looking, Eric. On stream, it looks really odd.
Oh, that is interesting.
Okay.
I just
So-
cleared out,
Oh.
but
A 14 is
yeah.
not terrible, but she does sort of notice that you're doing this.
Oh, no, you're right. This is your ticket, and we're kind of fully I suppose, though it is evidence, and as he's handing it back to her, would put it into Chauncey's hand.
Well,
Um,
fine.
LK, can I see the lantern for a moment?
I think
So
Chauncey has
you
that.
wouldn't happen to
Well,
know.
Chauncey, then. Can I see the lantern for a moment?
Hi, Graysong.
Hi, Glob. And very quietly, I'm going to take him over into kind of another area and ask him, you observe the same dissonant demeanor about her that you do about the affliction on myself?
What? No, I don't see anything like that on her.
Thank you. Right.
It's nice to talk. And he'll just
So-
like get handed back and be like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
So, Galanan, you won't happen
Yes.
to know or have any idea why this stuff would be perhaps on the deceased downstairs, would you?
my ticket." No, I have no idea. It's been in my pocket all week.
What about these jars that you have on the walls?
She'll sort of step back and she's going to be like, "I have no idea what you're talking about," and critically fail her deception check. That jar was not even one of mine.
Well, what are these jars?
These are my alchemical jars. I am planning on showing off some alchemical techniques at the symposium. These are here to protect from the plane. Protect my particular ingredients from the water.
What do these ingredients do?
All sorts of things. I have... and she sort of lists off all these different potions that she can make. None of which are alchemical fire, if that matters.
Do you have some kind of alchemical specialty? Something that you're particularly interested in, perhaps from an academic perspective?
She does. She particularly likes, sort of status healing things. Things that can, sorry?
No, I was just gonna say, while she's talking, I'm gonna be kind of like walking kind of around her, kind of just, kind of almost a little predator, animal predator like.
Do you want to make an
Just
intimidation?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that would be, let me just check the wiki. Because intimidation has a couple things, one of which I believe is coerce. And, yeah, coerce. With threats, either veiled or overt, you attempt to bully a creature into doing what you want. With this at least 1 minute of conversation, you do it versus her will DC. And, yeah, that is a success. She is going to become helpful to you guys.
Yeah, I'm making it very clear that I doubt what she's saying is true now.
I admit. Well, I didn't stay outside on the whole day of the murder. I did go inside. I had a conversation with Lady K previously, which you would have known had you listened to the GM and asked me my testimony. But she doesn't say that. I had a conversation with Lady K, and she mentioned that she is much more... Well, she seems to be much more in tune with alchemy and magic than she seems to let on. She mentioned that she had some rare alchemical reagents in her basement, and, well, I thought she wouldn't miss just a small sample. So I went downstairs. Unfortunately, I saw Garrett. I saw his body. I dropped my jar and swam back outside.
So you're saying that you had left the jar down there rather than him having stolen it from you?
That is correct.
And what of the ticket?
The ticket, I don't know. The fact that it was in his possession and not just floating there like the jar was, I have no clue.
Was there any topic at the symposium that might have dealt with Archfey?
No, not that I can think of. The Fae do a bit of occultism, but it is often the primal nature that they have.
Did you take note of the affliction on the deceased's body?
No, I never saw it, though I should mention that when I saw the body, it didn't have the fire wound. There was a wooden spear sticking out of his back.
A spear.
Mm-hmm. Also, his backpack wasn't strewn open at the time either. But, well, after that, I was in a daze and I barely remember anything.
Fair enough. I think we can move on to questioning the next individual.
Well, I imagine it would be helpful for you to know that I had that conversation about with Lady K. The day of the murder, I had breakfast in my room. And by the time I had finished it, Theodore had arrived. Was already banging on the roof as he was, well, apparently rather than paying for his room, he's doing chores for Lady K. He
I
was
assume providing all kinds of services.
Well, he worked mostly on the roof. He was there both times I went outside.
I'd like to maybe do a maybe perception. Does it look like the bed's been slept in by one or two people?
Just one.
Okay.
Though it actually, it looks more like it's been slept in by a big beetle monster than a person.
Her bed? Looks like it's been...
Her bed, yes. Do you want to ask her about that?
I'll mention it to LK to see, let him, because Zacharias would not know
How
exactly.
would a bed look like a giant beetle monster slept in it? Is he like a dung beetle and he kind of like pushes, or does it have like that big like shell-shaped indent in it?
Kind of a shell-shaped indent. The way that they have to sleep here is they have to actually like tie the blankets down so they don't float away. And the sheets have sort of claw marks from his jaw claws.
Yeah, Zacharias will. Yeah. So, what's the beetle guy?
Ichtbell?
Beetlejuice.
Ichtbell.
Ichtbell.
IKT.
Zacharias, think Ichtbell. Sleep in bed here. Did you sleep in bed too?
Galanan says, what? No, it's not what you think. It's, Ichtbell was bothered by the hammering. It was right above, his room here. This used to be his room. He was bothered by the hammering, and so he, eventually left. He swapped rooms with me.
And you
How
slept in
how
bed.
well you know Ichtbell?
Well, I know that he would kill me if I tried to get any closer to him. At least that's what he keeps saying. All I know is that he keeps going in and out of his washroom.
Okay.
Believe me, I would not have swapped his room had he not done it forcefully while I was outside.
Okay, so he was killed by a spear. Maybe someone burned his wound to cover that up.
They swapped rooms.
Yeah. Yeah, so they've...
I think it could have been just like an accident, like he fell on a spear.
Backwards.
Again,
Yeah, maybe he like stole it from somebody. He slipped on it, and then like, oh shit, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. And, like, burned
again,
it.
swimming. So particularly difficult. Galanan will sort of say, like, listen, if you're done interrogating me, I would like to rest. I don't know how you Incurration people deal with what you do, but I prefer a much more gentler touch. I don't want some wolfman walking around my room and some lizard person saying I'm sleeping with dung beetles.
Yeah.
Zachary will lead. Good day.
Oh, she definitely doesn't want to hear what I've got to say. So I would like to wander to a different room and start interrogating them.
So sorry, I was actually, for the people at home, I was going to re-show Galanan's face, but I forgot. Do you want to go into Lady Clabberbloot's room? Investigate her.
Yeah, Clabberbloot could be next for sure. Elke would make mention as we leave and shut that door on her that it does seem odd that it's somewhat odd to suggest that a spear might have killed somebody in a gravity-free environment. And then he would keep walking.
You have to be strong, like Zachary.
I guess also you would know, and I don't know how to really say this in a, like a non-metagame way, but spears are some of the weapons that you can use underwater.
Yeah.
It is possible, though, that there might be spears that you can use underwater. I am a quality academic.
So Lady Clabberbloot is pacing back and forth, sort of swimming like a fish around, and she's, oh dears, I'm so sorry you have to do all this work. But thank you, I appreciate it so much. Now, would you like to ask me anything?
We understand that there were varying accounts of how the body was found. Can you describe the body when you found it?
Well, yes. It was about lunchtime. Therodor and Galanan went inside. I decided for lunch. I realized I didn't have enough beef, so I went downstairs and I found it, and it was a burn in his back, and the backpack was split. I screamed, and Galanan and Therodel came down immediately.
What was his name? The one who works on the roof?
Therodel.
Therodel. What can you tell me about him?
Sorry, Therodor. I'm getting my names mixed up.
Therodor.
Well, Therodor is a very sweet man. He came here, he noticed the roof was rotting, and offered to pick it up for me. It was strange, though. I do have tools. He decided not to use those.
He brought his own tools.
I believe so, yes.
Did he say why he was passing through?
He was going to the symposium, I believe. It seems all of them were, except for Iqbal.
And
you don't find it odd that he had the tools to fix a problem on a roof that he didn't know had a problem?
Well, I'm sure anyone with any sort of carpentry tools might be able to help. I never saw the tools myself, I just heard the banging on the roof.
How did he ascertain that there was a problem with the roof?
Well, there was a hole in it. It was right above Galanen's room. No, well, Iqbal's room now. Just a small hole, but enough that he could notice. You might have noticed it if you came in at the same time. It's my fault. I try to go for realism with my inn, and, well, the wood and metal can't hold it up in the salt water.
There was mention in passing about that you had alchemical supplies about.
No, of course not. I don't know anything of alchemy, is it?
Well, someone's already spilled the beans and said you're pretty fluent in the finger wiggling and mixing of...
How dare you! I don't even have fingers!
Flipper wiggling, whatever you want to call it.
She's got a good point there.
I don't know what you're talking about, of course. No hablo la common, she says in common because the
Right.
translation.
Exactly.
While it may not be the case that you have a highly proficient level of use in magic, it is clear through, and then he would make up some jibber jabber about gunpowder marks on her fingers, flippers, indicating that you do.
Yeah.
But
Walk
full
over
on.
here, like, so what's all of this? If you don't mind, did someone put it here?
Oh, that's someone left it there. It's a friend's. I only do it on weekends.
I'm gonna start the same pacing around her that I was using on Ganalisle.
Oh, okay. Please don't tell anyone.
You take out your fishing rod.
You see, the demigod of this place, whose name is on a page I don't have. I'm actually really concerned. Sholsis. Sholisis does not like us to use certain kinds of occult magic. I do use them, but, well, if they found out I would be sent to jail. I just use it to speak to my dear old sister. I have
So,
a secret room downstairs, a connectivity center.
What sorts of magic are forbidden?
Any sort of messages, deliveries. It's difficult to explain.
Well, could that room, is it a very, like, one-way connection? Or can you communicate with other people?
It is just connected to my sister. And, well, her apartment.
Why would the demigod of this place not want communication magically?
She is quite secretive with her magic. It is very surprising she would allow a symposium to go on under her watch anyways. Oh dear, I do hope I haven't messed things up. Please promise you won't tell the guards.
It is not our place to implicate you in the use of magics that this demigod has determined are not fitting.
You're just like Garrett was. Thank you so much.
what was the nature of your relationship with Garrett?
Well, he often passed through this plane. This inn became a favorite of his, I believe. Yes, that's all I can really say.
Did he say what he was doing as he came through? Obviously, for more than just the symposium.
No, he often went to a number of planes that happened to touch this one. He often stayed in the room that Iqbal is in now.
When did he first arrive here? I mean, for his first visit.
I would say approximately a month ago. Which lines up to about the time that he left Tsutsuya.
What was his demeanor at the time?
The first day, he was quite secretive. He was almost lacking a personality entirely. But eventually, he became much more friendly and, well, that's all I know.
Did he ask you any questions?
No, didn't ask me much. We bonded over a love of butter cookies. He brought me some one day. We can't make them here because of baking is, well, not forbidden, just very difficult.
So
Okay.
I'm starting to get a theory. I would very much like to check out this Ignil's room.
Well, I can
Painted man.
try and help you get in, but Iqbal, that man is very zealous of his privacy.
Yes, well,
Is
the
that
Incorporation
hole
is
in the
equally
roof?
zealous about the truth.
Yeah, is that hole in the roof still there? Maybe we can just like check it out while looking through that.
It sounds like Theodore has already repaired it.
Well, maybe he saw something while he was repairing it, so let's go talk to him.
Okay, do Theodore next.
One last thing, Mrs. Claplabloot. Did you instruct
Iqbal.
Iqbal? Did you instruct Iqbal to switch rooms with your patron or with Galanan, or was that of his own volition?
Fully of his own volition. I do not allow that sort of thing here, but, well, I wouldn't want to tell him no.
We would do well to ask Theodore about what he might have seen in that room that might have made Iqbal desirous of it.
Did she tell us what race Iqbal was?
Yes,
Is
a
it
Trox.
beetle?
Trust.
If you guys want, you can make some kind of check on Trox, like a society or a...
Sure.
I guess society would be the best. Nature could also work.
Okay. Good.
So on the walk over to I guess Theodore's room,
Yeah.
I'd be like, so maybe I think that our victim downstairs was blamed for that circle, and somebody found out about it.
It's a good guess. They do seem to be fairly afraid of the punishments for such crimes.
As for your nature check, Trox are incredibly rare on the material plane. They are said to be basically a race of... their heritage lines up with Umber
Fire
Hulks.
beetles. Oh,
With what?
And Umber Hulks.
Umber Hulks.
And they used to be slaves to a number of underground races, particularly the Drow and the deep gnomes, the Snurveflin.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Dark Knights. Yeah.
They aren't inherently violent people,
Except for
He's just a dick.
possibly. So heading into Theodore's room, he is sitting on the floor, just sort of praying. You notice that this room is Lady Clababloot's study. Though, everything is kind of like bookshelves are upside down. Rather than being on the ceiling, the chandelier is hanging from the floor.
so floating up.
Yeah. So everything's just kind of disheveled, but Theodore sits there and sort of opens his red eyes and... Greetings. I was wondering when you would come visit me.
are you praying? Are you getting good in with your god? Because we're about to pass judgment on the murder you just committed.
He kind of grins and says, "You have no proof of that, of course."
Where is your spear?
I do not use spears. I do not use spears. No, what's his voice? He is Slavic. Slavic! I do not use spears. My monastery is not a violent one.
What was your original reason for coming upon this place?
The symposium.
And you just happen to be carrying the tools with you to repair Mrs. Clapplebloot's roof?
I did not use tools. Give me 1 second. I have to refer to my notes to see exactly what he did here.
He used a spear. I knew it.
Just gets the nails and slaps it down. Because got really strong monk hands.
Well, you said he was like part iron golem or something, kind of like an iron.
Stone.
Huh?
Genasi.
Stone Ganassi, yeah.
Oh,
Earth Ganassi.
okay.
So he'll say, no, I did not use tools. I use the focus of my key to drive the nails through.
Interesting. Is that the source of your capacity for casting arcane or spellcraft as well?
Firebolt?
It is not unrelated. I did study a bit of magic.
Can you demonstrate this driving of nails with your key?
Well, I have no nails here, but I could show you as much as I can. And he will sort of go over to the table, pick up something, and sort of force push it across the room.
Wonderful.
However, Greysong, you notice that he's not actually doing anything. There's no key there. He's actually not force pushing it. He's just using physics as intended.
So he's just throwing it?
Basically, yeah.
Pushing it and floats.
Basically, he has failed to prove anything to you.
Well, since you didn't fall for my trick, while you're repairing the hole in the room over there, did you happen to see anything interesting out of the normal?
I can't say that I did.
Who was staying in the room at the time you were repairing it?
I honestly do not know.
I'm gonna start pacing around. I can't, because I can't help myself.
Yeah, make me an intimidation check. Not the best. He ignores you and sort of says, I did not make it a priority to glean the information of whose room it was. I respected their privacy.
Looking down from the roof, you may have noticed, without much focus, did the bed happen to look like a giant beetle man slept in it, or conversely, that a what is she?
An elf.
Or that a Leith elfish body had occupied it? Was there any large dents in the bed?
I can't say for certain, but I can tell you it is the room to the northwest. So I guess he would sort of... I guess Iqbal is in that room now. So it would be Iqbal's. I forgot that he knew, like, the direction he was in, so...
And what is your interest in the symposium? Is there anything in particular you hope to glean from the event?
My monastery sent me so I could learn as much as I can and bring it back to them. They are we are a secretive group, at least in terms of our magical secrets. We are, I would say, the opposite of the Incroration.
May we see your ticket?
Unfortunately, I don't have it. I was hoping that I could find a way to find a busker, or not busker, a reseller. A reseller who could... His accent's going everywhere, I'm sorry. A reseller to buy one there. And I should note that as he's telling you all this, nothing about his, like, face or anything really strikes you as off-putting or lying.
Okay, kind of likes him. He's like, yes, a noble task gathering the information. Yes, I can understand your research motivations.
The Incroration prefers to break into planes that don't wish them to be there. We respect privacy. And you can tell that he's kind of like disliking the Incroration.
Yeah. I kind of
No.
want to just attack him to see like how he would defend himself if he'd shoot a firebolt at me or something.
I will tell you one thing that may help you on your quest. I did see Galanan using fire magic previously. While in the kitchen with her and Lady K before the murder, she seemed very anxious when Lady K went downstairs. I don't want to impose anything, but I would put a delicate eye on her.
Did you have any interactions with Garrett?
No, I did not know he was there. In fact, he died shortly after I arrived. One might call that suspicious, but, well, that's what happened.
Did
No.
you have opportunity to see the body before it was discovered initially?
I did not. I arrived, immediately worked on the roof, and didn't leave it until the body was found.
Nick, did we figure out who supposedly found the body first?
The fish lady.
Lady K did, yeah.
Gotcha.
And he says it was. I keep giving him like a British accent, but no, it's supposed to be Slavic. It is that I was working on the roof, as they said, and you could ask anybody. They should have heard the banging. I have a. Well, I hate to make a joke, but a airtight alibi. Now, if you have no more other questions, please allow me to continue my meditation.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna get out of there.
Yeah.
While I was inspecting the body, did it actually look like it was speared?
No, but with sort of some thinking back onto it, the fire would have engulfed any wound a spear would have made.
And we did find that wood that had been burnt.
Yes.
Once we're outside, and assuming he can't hear through the door, I'm going to mention what he says he can do with his key. He did not do. He is lying on that count. And if he did not have the tools to enact the repairs, and he does not have the ability he claims to have, it seems a very obvious and quaint deception for him to precipitate.
Zachras thinks he's no monk.
Well, that's disappointing. I was tremendously interested in that key.
I can be quite certain that he did not use it in the display that he showed us.
Zachras wants to check the roof.
So
I think it would be
go check.
interesting to determine if the sounds, in fact, were able to be produced by other means. Sounds are not what I would call a solid alibi.
Yeah. Could we head up to the roof? Because like if it was repaired, I'm thinking it was done but magically.
Yeah, you can head back up to the roof, either by going out the front door, or Lady Clabberboot's room has a doorway leading outside. The balcony.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the easiest.
We got us back into Lady Cloud's room.
Yeah.
Does anyone
device-
actually have like the mending cantrip or something?
Does who, sorry?
Anyone know that magic?
You know what? Is it?
It's actually
I would
like a
li-
first
I would
level
like-
spell.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I would
is.
like to look at the hole.
Nope.
See if it's been repaired with new wood, or if it's just been closed.
Well, we should also be able to determine with the device that Maha gave LK whether or not magic was used.
Yeah.
Do we can always send Harvey up to take a look from the top side as well. Oh no! Well,
You
yeah,
guys
he
can
he
swim.
can swim up. Oh, we can swim up. That's right.
Yeah.
It's super deceptive being in a super like disorienting being in a building and then thinking that I'm swimming the whole time.
Yeah.
So you guys can go through Lady Clapperboot's room. What you notice, LK, I'm assuming that LK has just sort of basically grafted this thing onto his face now.
Yeah, everywhere he walks, he's kind of looking at everything and everybody with it.
You notice that directly beneath Lady Clapperboot's room is the exterior door to the basement. There is some transmutation magic outside that door on the ground floor.
Well, where am I seeing it from?
You're seeing it from above. It would be
I'm kind of standing
of
out on her
here.
terrace and like looking down.
Yeah. If I put you on the ground map, you can see it is right up here.
Transmutation remnants around that area.
Yes. Technically, it's actually outside of Galanan's room, but Galanan doesn't have any doorway to get out there.
Well, that is rather interesting, and I would share with the group there seems to have been some transmutation magic used down there. I didn't get a good vantage point from the basement previously. We ought to investigate that exterior door.
What
Remind
does
me,
it-
transmutation, would that also cover shape change?
It would, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So half of you can go up to the roof, and the other check out this door.
Yeah, I'll go with the door just because, whatever.
You might want to go onto the roof just so you can use the spyglass.
Oh, the spyglass on
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
I want to know if it was magical, right?
Yeah.
We should.
I'm thinking like either illusion or conjuring magic was up there to continue doing the sound, and then like use that as a distraction.
The transmutation concerns me. If we should be wary of the idea that some of these individuals with whom we've interacted might not be who they appear to be.
I think Glob would say, "Wow, stating the obvious."
No, I mean, we don't know the source of the transmutation, but some of the folks that we believe to be the individuals that they claim to be may in fact not be those individuals. It might not be just as simple a matter as a random individual we have not seen yet. It might be someone assuming another identity altogether.
Nobody that we've seen so far has registered through the spyglass, right? In any capacity.
That's right. No one seems to be using any kind of illusion magic, and I will say that I
Would
won't.
a
I'll forego the
doppelganger?
Arcana checks, but you can be pretty sure that the wards on the outside are all intact, and no one has gotten in or out of this region.
It's also worth mentioning
not?
that transmutation is not limited to shape change. Changing
Yes.
one item into another is also within that realm of possibility.
Doppelgangers would not, I don't think, ping is magical.
Yeah, like when Greysong wild shapes.
Yeah, so it's possible that one of them is a doppelganger, but you've had no evidence of that so far. On the roof, LK, you notice, you find the area that it is new wood. It does look like it was hammered in. There's not really any, like, good way to determine how it was hammered in. But you do definitely detect divination up here. In addition, you sense some magic just below the boards.
Divination as well.
Because the spyglass can't see it, it's actually your detect magic.
Detect magic
Pinging.
is pinging it.
Yeah.
So there's an active spell ability going on, and the spyglass indicates there's a remnants of divination magic.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I will. I'm gonna covertly report that to people because I assume there's some people that can see us.
Yeah.
Right now.
You've got Harvey vision.
Yeah.
Harvey vision.
So report that back to people, indicate it to the group, and then we should kind of come down from there and maybe interrogate in the room.
Mick, to my knowledge, are there any denizens, particularly of the wilder fae variety, that have shape change abilities specifically?
Oh, almost all of them. Unfortunately.
That's what I was afraid of.
Investigating this doorway, I'd like you guys to make me a perception check. One of you or all of you.
I can do it.
Okay.
See, perceive.
Perfect. So you notice some things on this door. With LK telling you that there's some transmutation magic around, LK can actually say see 2 transmutations. Their details is hazy, but one is actually on the door and one is sort of off in the area, in the water outside of it. The door itself has one little section that is difficult to really discern. It looks like the wood has warped slightly, and because you are a druid, I'm going to tell you that you recognize this as possibly the Shape Wood spell, or whatever the Pathfinder 2 variant of this is. There is a small gap, only like the size of a mouse or something, could get through here. You also notice that the lock on the door is made of a rusted metal that is definitely like completely inoperable, and could easily be broken off, but it's definitely not broken off.
I will point out that the likelihood of the shape wood.
Do you guys want to knock on Ichtbel's door? Or investigate this rooftop closer?
So the pounding on the roof, caused him to leave and go to a different room before. So I would bring that up to the group, be like, well, he seems pretty violent. Maybe we could do it like a little subterfuge and get him out of the room by bothering him without any actual
Zacharias can
confrontation.
bang on the roof again.
Oh, I thought you were suggesting, just in general, that he was manipulated to begin with to leave the room.
No, I just want to check his room before we actually start to talk to him. Doesn't seem to like us too much.
I'm beginning to suspect that there might even be a collusion here. Perhaps Ganalisle and Theodore.
All of the names are in your journal, by the way.
Yes.
So you can go up to the roof and knock on this ceiling some more, see if you can drive Ichtbel away.
Yeah.
Do you suspect, LK, that there is something beneath the roof itself that retains a magical essence that needs to be investigated more fully, or do you think that this is the remnants of whatever was done to repair it? You're muted, by the way.
Both. I get the impression that there's still a magical effect and magic in effect, as well as some remnants of what had happened potentially to the roof.
You were sure that the magic spell that was cast was divination in nature, and would be, yeah.
So you guys all know, essentially, from me coming back from that you have a divination remnant on the roof, and you have some kind of spell work still running inside, on the inside, which is LK's suggestion is we go get into his room somehow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Seems
so
strange to me that a divination
Zacharias is going to go upstairs and...
Yeah. Zacharias, do you want to make me a athletics check to make a racket? Is there an obnoxious skill?
Yeah.
I think that's just Chauncey normally.
I think if, assuming LK is giving a guidance, that's gonna be enough that Ichtbel furiously leaves his room and goes into a nearby bathroom.
I'll keep hitting, just kind of rhythmically. Or not rhythmically. Even more annoying. Just kind of...
Harvey can tell you that he has left the building.
Yeah, so while he's leaving, does he pass within LK's vision? Is he glowing with magic at all?
He is not.
Okay. So while he's gone, I'm just gonna rush into his room and take a peek.
Rushing into his room, you actually see that in this bedroom there is tons of various treasure scattered about. There's gold coins, silver coins, little art pieces, and a number of weapons. There's knives, hammers, spears, daggers, swords, and up in the ceiling, sort of floating in the corner, is what Tsutsuya can tell you is Garrett's roamer, mixed in with the treasure. In addition, there's a small, like, not quite an attic, but like there is a few feet of distance between the rooftop and like the rafters. The rafters are kind of blocked off. You couldn't see them from this side.
So if I look up, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the spot where LK kind of spotted the magical concentration. Is there anything visibly obvious in that spot? Looking at it from this side,
other than like a few cracks, not cracks, but like gaps in the floor or ceiling boards, you don't really spot anything. You do see, while you're on this side, LK, there is transmutation magic that I will say is the exact same as the transmutation magic outside the door. Not the shape wood magic, but the random transmutation.
There's transmutation magic
in this room.
And that is presumably what I could feel was still in effect?
No. There is something else still in effect above you guys.
But the transmutation is another kind of remnant of magic.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I swim up to the rafters and look and see if there's anything that isn't like embedded in the actual ceiling that can be spotted?
Yeah, floating above the rafters in what I'm gonna call it the attic, but it's only like a crawl space on the ceiling. In this attic, you think you can make out 2 books, as well as a sort of a rod, definitely a magical tool of some kind. With LK's help, you actually can determine that rod is what's making the magic glow.
I will bring both of those down.
You wouldn't be able to from here, from this end,
Where?
because it's thick boards. You can only just sort of see through the floorboards.
Oh, I
ceiling
got
boards.
you. They're hidden away.
Yeah.
So that's the source of that's pinging my detect magic.
Yes.
What is it physically?
Sort of a rod, like a magic wand. I'm gonna say wand. And you can look up with the spyglass and see that it is giving off more divination magic. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
You'd be able to tell that it is a tool, a focus, used for divination magic. It doesn't have any spells on it itself, but it does ping magic as it is sort of a 0th level magical item.
So it could be used to like keep magic in effect or something like that?
Yeah, it's like if you used a wand for your things, it would eventually pick up some magic static.
But there is definitely a spell effect in effect.
That's what the spell effect is. Is this magic
Okay.
static?
I'm just going to try to dispel magic on it.
Yeah. How does that spell work?
In a difficult manner.
Can you click the
yes.
counteract check?
So it's a
target?
counteract. So counteract is itself the thing. So
Rather than going through all the rules and trying to figure out how counteract works, I'm just gonna say, because this is such a low-level magic effect, that you can have it go out.
Okay.
It just goes out and nothing really happens. It's probably more like someone used it to cast a spell and then stashed it.
I suspect that the magic that we're detecting is nothing more than the remnants of some spellcraft. I've dispelled it, but it doesn't seem to have dropped any effects.
So the roamer.
Yeah, the roamer is there too.
I very much want to have a look at the books that are absconded within that space.
Is this the door he went through?
No, he went through the southern door. That door just... Oh, that's a bathroom. Okay, plot hole, he had a bathroom the whole time. This one, the room is too narrow and he can't get his whole body in.
Okay.
Mick, could I wild shape into like a mouse and like scurry between the crack and get up there into the space?
Yeah, for sure.
I will do so.
You can wild shape as a
Or
focus,
little
right?
fish.
So, yeah.
You want to be a little fish swimming.
Yeah, fish. You swim faster. Become a little minnow. Yeah, you can get up into this crawl space. There's enough room for you to sort of move around, though it's uncomfortable when you become back to a human, if you'd like.
Yeah.
So, looking at these books, you are very surprised because, one, you didn't know you knew this language in written form, but this is written in Druidic.
Interesting. What
These
is
are
it?
two Druidic tomes, giving some various magical secrets. Nothing really stands out to you as important to the investigation, but I will put it in your downtime as stuff you can investigate further.
Okay, I will stash those away and let's see.
I guess-
First of all,
You'd have to take 10 minutes to refocus and then cast Wild Shape
yeah.
again.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
So I've got I'm definitely taking that roamer, but I have
Yes.
a few theories going on. So I feel like this beetle dude is a hoarder, for one. Like he just collects all this stuff. I don't think he actually killed Garrett. Is there any way to determine how long that growth on Garrett has been there? 'Cause I'm thinking it happened either right before he died or after he died.
No, that was already answered. It was about a month, or
About a
about
month.
2 months.
Sorry,
Okay.
yeah, 2 months because Grey Song identified it versus his progression.
Okay, so it couldn't have been Garrett like tried to burn it away or anything.
Well, he
Very
did
unlikely.
start- It
Yeah.
would have been in the back, and it was the chest that.
Have we
I
physically
know it
seen?
came from his stomach this time.
Oh, the
Yeah.
stomach. Sorry.
Have we physically seen Ickblad?
Iqbal?
God
Iqbal?
damn it.
I mean, you've seen him
Iqbal.
walking around.
Yeah.
Have we seen him? Have we ever seen all the guests in the place together at the same time? Is that right at the
yes.
beginning?
First got
Did
here.
we? Okay,
Right
okay,
there.
never
When we
mind.
first got here. Yeah.
So speaking of Iqbal, Tatsuya and Mahar out in the hallway sort of go like, "Oh, Iqbal, nice to see you. Why don't you talk with me for a moment?" And are definitely like stage whispering to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Zach's will sneak out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab the roamer for sure.
Okay.
And I guess abscond out of that room as quick as possible.
I can't
Does he
dig
see
out.
us coming out?
There we go.
He doesn't. Luckily, so Iqbal, as a Trox, has 4 arms, but they are very small. So he's just sort of paddling as fast as he can, moving at about like a foot a minute.
You kind of like a doggy paddle.
Yeah.
Who's the fish and fish? You know, the fish and fishtail, the boss, the pufferfish. That's what it reminds me of.
I don't get that reference.
Will
honest.
Smith animated movie? No,
No.
fishtail,
That's
shark
been a
tail,
long
shark
time.
tail, shark tail, shark tail.
Shark tail.
Shark tails. Okay.
So you said there was there any? You said there were spears in the room. While we're in there investigating, they're checking the roof. Did any have blood on it at all?
No. Though there were some that were all wood. Like Galanan said.
What? Where was the washroom he supposedly was?
Just to the south and off to the left. He's somewhere over here, I think.
Whoops. You can definitely investigate the washroom, but it does not smell good and has no clues.
Okay.
So we've got the testimonies from everybody but Iqbal, right?
Yes.
I think we should talk to him.
Right now, he sort of pushes by you guys and very slowly swims back to his room, ignoring you, pointedly. You are free to talk to him if you'd like.
Iqbal,
He just ignores you.
we wish to speak with you.
Let's swim quickly and try to get in front of him.
I wish to be alone.
We don't care what you wish. We wish to speak to you.
I don't care what you wish. I wish to be alone.
Well, that's not an option, is it?
It is! And he furiously paddles for... You feel like he would be incredibly scary on the battlefield. Just not this one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Zachris will stay there.
We will let you have your solitude after you've spoken with us.
I'd like you to make me a diplomacy or intimidation.
I'll do the the latter because I'm much better at that.
Sit there and growl.
Yeah. I'm gonna use a hero point to try to reroll that.
Okay.
Yeah, is it possible to, I guess, do that help action?
It's a DC 20 intimidate
Yeah,
to help.
It's impossible for me to do it, but, like, someone else.
Maybe Zachris? And it only gives a +1.
What is it?
If you want to assist the intimidate, it's a DC 20 intimidate to give Greysong a +1 on his.
Oh. What's this plus? Yeah, I'll do it.
Guidance.
So,
Oh, there we go.
are you guiding Greysong or are you guiding Zachris?
I already did a guidance on Greysong last time, right? So I assume the 10-minute cooldown's still running?
Oh, yeah, that's true. In any case, 24
maybe,
is...
1 hour cooldown, rather.
So 24, he actually has a racial ability that he gets +2 on his will versus intimidate. But that still beats it. So he does sort of turn around and is like, I'll give you 5 minutes. What do you want?
Well, I've got 2 questions. I'm going to wait on the second one. But I'm just wondering, what do you not like about people in general?
Your people made me a slave.
Zachris is going to be right beside.
Right in front of him?
No,
fairness,
yeah, well, behind him, I guess, because he's turned around.
In
Yeah.
fairness, our people have made us a slave as well.
But not personally.
It felt pretty personal.
I don't care.
Why are you here?
I am traveling. I am heading to, and he gives you a name of a plane that you've never heard of. But Mahar and Tsutsuya can sort of say, like, yep, that checks out.
Why did you stop at an inn that is very obviously a monument to humans?
I wouldn't if I had a choice. This is just the one on the way. I thought maybe I could have a nice place to sleep. Something that wasn't water.
What do you know of this Garrett?
I've never heard of him.
You've never interacted with him.
I refuse to speak to any human I have to. Don't have to.
Did
Well,
he
one of
speak with you?
He did not. I never saw the man.
Did you see him after he was deceased?
I have never seen him. Which, to
Oh,
your guys' knowledge, is technically true.
So, why did you happen to have his aroma?
I didn't have his roamer.
I'll show him the little talisman. Like, so you don't know what this is?
I'm cocking my head at him.
I think that was in one of my treasure piles. I thought I didn't recognize it. But it doesn't matter. I didn't take it.
Has anyone aside from you been in your room that you are aware of?
No. But I did switch rooms with that harlot. The banging was above my roof. I moved into her room, and then I realized the banging was even closer. It was horrible.
And you trusted her with your treasure.
She wasn't in the room. I threw all her stuff out, and put my treasure in here.
Alright, so I'm sorry, but you're kind of, like, offending my eyes. Go to your room.
So wait a minute, this was his original room, or this is
his second room.
Galenon's?
Yeah.
Right. His original was the
So
one.
presumably her stuff was in here, he suggests, and when he moved, he threw her stuff out, but it probably got mixed up in it and stays here from his end.
So, at this point, Chauncey, I'm thinking I put everything together because I'm a super amazing detective. So, what I'm thinking is our little Genasi friend, he's the one that committed all the problems. He's trying to frame everybody else and take it off himself. He was the one on the roof with the giant hole in the room, so he could have placed the roamer in there. And he was on the roof, apparently, fixing this all the time. So that's his alibi, but apparently he could have been doing it with magic or key.
If that focus, he could
And then-
potentially remotely do something through the focus, could he not?
Yeah,
Iqbal is here and will mention one thing and say, there was about an hour where he stopped hammering. That was the best hour I've had since coming here.
Yeah, so what
When
I'm
was
thinking
this?
is he warped wood or whatever to fix the roof, and he also warped wood down there, did the thing, and he wanted to get the ticket from crap, I forgot her name.
Galenonde.
Yeah, Galanan. But our buddy stole her ticket, or he might have placed it on her as a, like, to try to frame her for the murder as well. I think he did it. Is essentially what I'm thinking.
What was the hour that the hammering stopped?
He sort of describes, and it was about the hour that, it would have been the hour that the murder happened in. At about this time, Chauncey, Theodore is only in another room, and he can hear you guys. He steps out of the room, as does everyone else, because, well, I want this to be dramatic. And he says, so, you think I am the murderer? You...
No, I think you're too much of a puss to be able to take out an incarnation officer.
Perhaps. But I don't believe you. You do all this mental gymnastics. The fact of the matter is, it was her. And points directly at Galenonde. Whoops.
Oops, wait. Oh, music.
Yes.
And why do you say that?
Simple. Her ticket was on his possession. She had access to fire, and she had access to downstairs. We already know that she went down because she was trying to steal the alchemical tools, or alchemical reagents. At that time, she saw Garrett. Garrett saw her. To save him, or to save herself, she killed him. That is the only way it could have gone.
Galenonde?
Galenonde sort of steps back and is, I don't know what to say. I was outside most of the day. I was outside when he was murdered. I didn't even know that my ticket was gone. You have to believe me.
Why did you lie to us about your ability to use your key to drive nails into the roof? That seems suspicious.
Do you have proof of this?
I know you didn't. Your demonstration was unbelievable.
Well, we can demonstrate that to the guards when they arrive. Unless you have any real proof, then I guess
Please.
It's just hearsay.
Please demonstrate, and I'll crack in part of the floor.
Lady Clapperbluet's just like, ah!
Yeah.
Please, we would all be very interested to see you work your craft.
The fact of the matter is, I used magic.
By all means, do so again. We would be very interested.
He's going to take out a small wooden rod, about the same size as the one up in the ceiling, and he's going to cast Shillelagh on it. And use that as a hammer. It makes exactly the same sound that everyone else heard on the roof.
And what is that rod that he used to focus? Is druidic focus or
From now you can tell, yes, it is a druidic focus. You were certain that Shillelagh is a druid-only spell.
Yeah,
Primal.
Does it look like it was crafted of the same? It's reasonable to conclude that they're the same focus.
Yes.
So, one of us, I think one of us has manacles.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys have manacles.
So my idea is just to be like, okay, body downstairs gave up you. It took a little while or whatever, but it finally gave up your description of the murderer. And I want to put manacles on him, see if he shapeshifts out of it.
He'll say, there's no way. He's not gonna let himself be manacled.
That's my idea. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the lantern from Chauncey again and ask Glob, what about any of those present here? Do you sense a similar dissonance amongst any of them? Most notably from this one, pointing to Theo.
He's well, I think you must have missed something. He didn't detect any sort of dissonance on anybody.
Well, he did on me. Remember, right? The growth.
Oh, right, the growth. Yes. No, none of these guys have it.
Interesting.
Now that you've lied to us about...
So, maybe Garrett is he's the one that can shape change, and he's the one going in and out of the door, kind of like since Greysong, the thing gives you your power. Maybe he's the one going in and out of the door.
Glob
would be?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Glob would say there was. Oh no, he wouldn't. Never mind. That makes no sense.
I still don't understand the purpose of you deceiving us into believing that you were channeling chi to drive nails into the roof. What was the purpose of that deception?
You yourself are a druid, is that correct?
Yes.
You should know that we are a very secretive people.
And what is the nature of the divination craft that you put in place in that room?
I wish to sense what was around.
What was going to happen?
It was sensing if people were nearby.
It seems very coincidental that you stopped your craft right at the time when Garrett was murdered.
Perhaps. You don't believe that I did this, though, do you? How would I... He's trying to come up with a loophole. Give me a second.
What's Tsoya, Rangrim, and Mahar doing?
They're just sort of watching.
And is Iqbal there with everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
He's watching from the doorway.
Okay.
He says, say what you wish. There is one piece of concrete evidence, and that is Galanan's ticket. Not to mention Galanan's jars. Galanan at this point would sort of go, I'm sorry, Lady Cloudbubloot, but I did sneak down there. I was the one who triggered the alarm. And I saw his body, and she'll tell about seeing the body, seeing that the spear was there, and seeing that the spear was there and that the thing wasn't ripped open. At this, Therodor will say, then that proves my innocence. Greysong, as a druid, you know that using metal is anathema to us. This is why I did not use the metal tools. If it was a spear, I would not have my druidic powers anymore.
Is that true, Greysong?
You would know that is true.
Well, it's considered a. I don't think necessarily it immediately relinquishes your powers. It's just considered anathema. It's basically a mark on you.
Zacharias saw no metal downstairs. It was burnt up wood.
You saw no metal spearhead?
No, there was none.
Well, then I guess you have one last piece of concrete evidence. That is Galanan's ticket.
All Galanan's ticket would seem to prove is that she was robbed.
Perhaps Theodore, he take ticket from Galanon and plant onto Garrett's body.
You can tell that he is getting more and more frustrated. I need to look at all my clues again. Give me one moment. I have one last question for you then. Since you seem determined to pick out me. Out of all these people, I am the only one with no motive. I am the Shanti wasn't here when I said that. Out of all the people that are here, I am the only one with no motive.
So Iqbal hates peeps, so we could simply use that as a motive.
I think everybody got shot out of Grid Fam.
Did everyone get shot out of Grid Fam? Because I see everybody.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear everybody, but I don't think Chauncey can hear anybody.
Oh, I don't see Chauncey. Yeah.
I don't see Chauncey.
Chauncey, can you full refresh?
Yeah, everybody is kicked out.
Oh, and it looks like on Twitch, everybody but you is missing.
Oh.
Okay. So maybe we all need to refresh. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry for everyone.
Even on Twitch,
refresh.
they're all gone.
Yeah, they just mentioned that. Sorry, viewers. We will be just a minute as we figure out as everyone reconnects. See if they reconnect on Twitch. So I've got LK and Chauncey. And Greysong and Zacharias are on Twitch.
Is that all of us that got booted?
Yeah, everyone have everyone?
Yeah, everybody's back
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
That was
Sorry.
funny.
Dramatic ending! No,
Just everybody died.
so he says, everyone has a motive but me. Rangrim stood to gain further. He was going to get promoted. Yep.
Yeah.
With Garrett's death. Galanan was spotted by Garrett downstairs. I guess Lady Clabberblute doesn't have a motive,
reason.
but actually, yeah, he might say it is plausible Garrett's found out about Lady Clabberblute's closet.
So
how does he know about the closet?
yeah. Zachary says.
You explained it to me.
So, Mick, one of the things about the anathema is if you do enough of the acts that are anathema, then you lose your magic abilities. So it's not a single act.
Because this is a DM-related plot hole and not.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. I wanted to be sure. I wanted to know whether I caught him in a lie or if that was just a slip.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that wasn't. He wasn't calling a lie. That's just. He would say that killing someone with metal would be anathema for him.
Gotcha.
Enough anathema. I was young and I used a bunch of metal cigarettes. I only have one strike left. So he sort of looks around and says, if anybody can think of a motive I have, and sort of trails off.
You are in a house.
So
has
this guy
to the party you wanted to attend?
Yes. I am certain that my druidic powers would get me inside.
Question: has this guy noticed Greysong's growth?
Not really.
Greysong usually has the hood up.
I mean, he's also made of stone, so seeing a growth on someone is not entirely unusual.
Unless Garrett was trying to heal his growth, stole from what's her name to get the. She said she specializes in healing status effects or permanent effects.
Yeah.
Or was interested in it. She might have had something that he thought he might have been able to use.
Oh no, the jar he had. She went downstairs to collect. Around that arcane symbol.
Yeah, it was an empty jar downstairs. Yeah. Glob will sort of whisper to you guys and say, I think there's something we're missing. There's a clue that hasn't been used yet.
Well, we've got the jar. We've got the thing that was the alarm that was triggered. We've got the shards of wood, the burn mark, which by the way a druid could also do the burning hands. We've got the the knocking that stopped during that hour period. We've got the changing of rooms. We've got the secret communication devices. We've got
the warped wood.
We've got the transmutation.
Yeah, do you really believe he would kill for what does he want? A ticket?
What would he kill for? That's a good question. What do you know about him and his faction?
Trying to keep knowledge secret. So if he had known something potentially about something that he wanted kept secret.
My most immediate. I mean, this is out of character, but my most immediate thought is the connection between the druids and the Fae. There is very definitely a Fae connection with Garrett, and we have the druid connection. I'm
gonna stop you there. Glob will give you one last sort of. He's not giving you hints. He's just sort of thinking aloud, and he says, "What was different between the body that we saw and the body that Ganalisle saw?"
Yeah.
Well, the spear.
And nothing was scattered about when Galanon saw the body.
Somebody looted through the body.
They were looking for something. I have a question, Susoyo. Is there something that was missing from his possessions aside from the Roma?
No, nothing that I could see. Unless he got something from a different plane. Something that he would kill for.
I think you might have to remind us what Gallahan was saying.
Galanan said that, basically the book or the bag was ripped open. And everything, or rather, for her, the bag was not ripped open.
She seems to have stumbled on the body earlier than anybody else, when the fire was not done to it and when nobody had looted and pillaged it. Somebody went down there to loot and pillage it. It seems to stand to reason that, given his faction, he might want to just simply be protecting something and might not have killed him. That might have been on his corpse, but...
He also stashed away his journals. He was hiding the fact that he was of that faction.
Do you say that out loud?
No, I'm saying that that was actually out of character, but I will say so very quietly to LK.
That he hid the journals?
Yes. Not the exact actions of a forthright man.
Nobody's read the journals, have they?
I'd started looking at them, yes. I will go find a side room, and I'm going to look at the last entries for the journals.
It's not actually a journal, it's more of a textbook.
Okay. Is there anything either in theme of subject, or do they look like they're handwritten, or do they look, I mean, I guess they would be, but do they look like there's something where they're like academic notes?
It is sort of a textbook on Fey communications.
So I got a question. Maybe Garrett was going around stealing everybody's shit, and he got these journals?
Garrett was killed before... no, that's not true.
Oh, no,
They
he's
were all
killed
there
the
when he was
after.
killed.
Yeah. We still didn't go down, and that was kind of like, I wanted Greysong to be able to kind of test out
What
the
is-
communication stuff.
Why were you here for the Fae?
He says...
Do not claim ignorance. You
we
were
are-
here investigating the Fae.
We are druids. It's what we do. I am here simply for the symposium.
Or perhaps to investigate Garrett's connection to the Fae.
You are far off. I have never met this man.
Interesting.
Maybe
Do I have your word on that?
Do you have any proof?
Do I have your word on
You
that?
have my word indeed.
I'm gonna take off my glove and go to shake his hand with the afflicted hand. Would you be willing to shake on that?
He sort of looks at your hand weird, as if like seeing a disease, but not like a horrific disease. And he is going to bravely
coronavirus.
grab your hand. Now that we have shaken, we are friends, yes? So unless you have any proof, any piece of evidence to show why I might have done this.
His only alibi was... His alibi's gone at this point because it's like nobody's corroborated that he wasn't down there.
What did we?
So, essentially... Oh, sorry,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
Did we get from Ictabel the time that the knocking stopped?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
happened as the murder
Yeah.
happened.
So-
And then his answer
Again,
to that was...
You
Okay.
guys are right that you have basically poked a hole in all of his alibis. He has no alibi now, but he doesn't have a motive.
Like I say, the only
Except
motive-
that
or to
we
hide
know
something.
the journals are druidic, and they specifically point to investigating communication with the Fae. We know that there was a communication circle in the cellar in a secret room. We also know that Garrett had a connection to the Fae.
But you haven't brought any of that up to him.
No, I'm just saying, like, we're talking that I will. As a matter of fact, Greysong will mention that as a side notation to the group without uttering it publicly yet.
And I don't think Chauncey's he's too obnoxious not to at this point.
I will go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
We found journals. The journals speak of investigation of communication with the Fae. There's a communication circle that exists in the cellar of this place. The same cellar, by the way, in which Garrett's body was found. Garrett's body was found with a mark that signifies contact with the Fae. This seems highly coincidental.
Give those back. And as he does that, he is going to begin casting Stone Skin on himself. Well, it is 10 o'clock, and he is 1 versus 9 of you. So this is when he goes into battle mode, and clearly does not get very far. But
we would wish to subdue him, though, and not kill him.
And you eventually do so. You successfully subdue him. And he said,
just a giant room full of grappling.
That's right.
Yeah. He sort of spits at you guys
I
like...
feel like Rangrim is like right behind him. He's like, you framed me, and just like clobbers him.
Theodore says, all I had to do was wait until she got the finger for all of this. That Garrett stole those books from my monastery. They are very important. We needed to get them back. So I assassinated him, stole them and hid them away until I could go and leave.
You could have just asked for them back. Like, shit.
He broke in, killed a bunch of our men, and fled with these books out in the night. We don't know why he did so. It was Ganalisle. She saw the moments that I killed him. Luckily, there was that pillar of barrels, and I was able to hide away. She was too afraid and didn't notice. I decided she would be the one to frame. I stole her ticket and planted it on him. I used fire magic to hide the spear, and to hide the spear wound. She even left her own jar there. And I would have gotten away with it.
For you meddling.
That's right.
And that dog.
And yeah, points at you, Greysong. And your little dog, too. And with that,
So I really think he kind of set himself up, because he's the only one with like evil eyes.
I didn't trust him from the beginning.
Yeah, maybe I should have made him appear a bit more nice, but
The reason I didn't believe him is he was the most calm out of all of them.
that was intentional.
Yeah, he's literally the only one out of all of them that didn't have somebody like pointing at them.
Yeah.
When I did these portraits, I actually hadn't decided who was the murderer yet.
No. Okay.
So, yeah, you guys solved the mystery. Ganalisle is actually very relieved at this and offers to give you guys her ticket to the symposium.
Wasn't going to give it back.
Oh.
We have it. It's evident.
So it being 10 o'clock, I will get your guys' post-game downtime-y
Level
stuff.
ups?
You guys level up to 4. Congratulations.
Wait, we were 4.
We're already
We were
4.
You mean 5?
Wait,
yeah, we are
when
4.
did you level up to 4?
long time ago.
before
No,
last
we
night.
did.
3 sessions ago?
Three sessions.
Oh, I forgot to update my. I forgot to update the little Twitch thing above Nuntium's, Credari's. I'm gonna do that right now. But yeah, you guys are now level 5.
Great, level 5.
Yay.
2 levels in one game.
You guys, you're not joking, right?
No, we're not
four.
joking.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not
if I was
lying to
level
me.
3 with that 60 hit points.